Chapter 430. Ning Fan gently took a deep breath. Lightning Lord Tai Yu's body refinement realm was at the second level of the golden body refining realm, which was enough to make his breath stagnate. Even with his body refinement realm at the peak of the jade life realm, in addition to the limit of strength of his corpse devil body, he was still slightly inferior to Tai Yu. The black tower-like man was glowing with a pure golden light. His body seemed to have become a golden man, and it was engraved with patterns of the great Tao. He stood there like an insurmountable mountain. Even Lei Shi would not be able to withstand his punch and would definitely be severely injured. As for Chu Nanfeng and the others, they were forced to retreat dozens of steps before they could stabilize themselves. They were completely unable to resist Tai Yu's domineering aura. Not only is this man a golden body cultivator, but he has also reached the second level of the golden body realm. This man is very strong. This person's blood qi carried a hint of gold, which made me faintly understand. The Tao of body refinement starts with the 10th layer of silver light, followed by the silver bone, tempering the bones, followed by the jade life, tempering the life soul, and finally the golden body, tempering the blood qi. Ning Fan muttered to himself. His eyes showed no signs of fear as he took a step forward. Every strand of Lightning Lord Tai Yu's aura was enough to suppress mountains and rivers and lock the vast sky. However, as Ning Fan made a grabbing motion with his 5 fingers, pieces of the golden body's aura force shattered like glass. A cracking sound was heard as the golden body was broken. "Alright, I'll take your punch. If I am not injured, I want a drop of your golden body blood." "Golden body blood? Sure. That is, if you can survive my punch." Seeing that Ning Fan had broken his aura force and even accepted his challenge, Tai Yu's eyes flashed with a hint of approval. He stared deeply at Ning Fan. He could tell that Ning Fan's true body refinement realm was at the peak jade life realm. He was still far from attaining the golden body realm. However, with his strange corpse devil physique, he could put up a fight against a true expert at the first level of the golden body realm. The reason why Ning Fan asked for Tai Yu's blood was because he wanted to comprehend the difference between the golden body realm and the jade life realm. It was just a drop of blood. If Ning Fan's strength could satisfy him, why not give him a drop of blood to help him comprehend the golden body refining realm? "Take this." Tai Yu took a step forward, and his aura reached its peak at this moment. It was as sharp as a sword, and it caused countless dead spirits to retreat in a hurry. Regardless of friend or foe, the battlefield was emptied. Countless mountain peaks were suppressed by his imposing aura, and they seemed to have been hacked by an axe. Enormous ridges collapsed, rivers stopped flowing, and everything seemed to have been flattened by an immortal hammer. A trace of scarlet fierceness rose in Tai Yu's eyes. His body seemed to be made of gold as his essence covered the sky. As soon as the fist light moved, it immediately produced an earth-shattering sound of collapse. A beam of pure golden fist light streaked across the sky, shattering layers of clouds. The void was crushed at this moment, and the ground began to collapse as if there was an earthquake. That ray of fist light approached him from afar. In just the blink of an eye, Ning Fan took a step forward and his eyes were filled with monstrous battle intent. This punch was very powerful. It was enough to suppress Lei Shi with one punch. So this is the strength of an existence that is almost unrivaled among Void Inquiry stage experts in the Heavenly Lightning Tower. Lightning armor, appear. All of a sudden, a lightning armor with golden lightning patterns appeared around Ning Fan's body. His white robes and golden armor made him look like a heavenly general. The moment the lightning armor covered his body, his physical defense immediately increased to a terrifying level. The 3rd level golden armor could withstand a Void Pierce stage attack. He had already obtained 100,000 traces of primordial lightning for no reason along the way to the 22nd level. He was already halfway to the 4th level golden armor. With this level of defense, he could even ignore the attacks of ordinary Void Pierce stage old monsters. The attacks of Void Inquiry stage old monsters could not break this defense at all. The fist light that was enough to suppress Lei Shi blasted on the lightning armor, producing a terrifying explosion that sounded like the end of the world. Wind and lightning were blown away. The ground was swept away by the fist light, turning it into a decaying and desolate place. However, Ning Fan, who was standing at the center of the fist light, was not injured at all. He was in an invincible state. His defensive power had already reached a terrifying level under the nourishment of countless traces of primordial lightning. After a long time, the fist light dissipated. Ning Fan dispersed his lightning armor and said indifferently, "I have already withstood your fist light. It's time for you to fulfill your promise." Hiss! Even Tai Yu could not help but gasp in astonishment. As for the other experts, all of them wore astonished expressions. All of them could see how powerful Tai Yu's punch was. It was enough to instantly kill any Void Glimpse stage expert and suppress a Void Inquiry stage expert who was at the same level as Lei Shi. Ning Fan had actually withstood such a powerful fist light with his lightning armor. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that this lightning armor was not a magic treasure. Instead, it was a type of magic technique. It was a magic technique that allowed him to condense primordial lightning to form an invincible lightning armor. They finally understood why Ning Fan had been collecting primordial lightning everywhere. It must be because of this mysterious secret technique. A deep sense of frustration rose in Lightning Lord Tai Yu's heart. He closed his eyes and remained silent. He had used all of his strength in this punch. He did not use any body technique. However, judging from this attack, even if he uses a powerful body technique, he would not be able to break the defense of the lightning armor. The defense of this lightning armor was already heaven-defying. Even a Void Pierce stage expert would find it difficult to withstand it. "You can go up to the 23rd floor." Tai Yu opened his eyes. His eyes were filled with reluctance and dejection. He used his finger like a sword and pierced it across his arm, keeping a drop of golden blood into a jade bottle. Then he gave Ning Fan all the gifts he had prepared earlier. The blood of the golden body refining realm only flowed in the tiny blood vessels on the skin. With Tai Yu's current body refinement realm, he had only condensed 500 drops of golden blood. Ning Fan nodded his head. Even though Tai Yu was overbearing, he was still a person who was willing to admit defeat. He kept the gifts and swallowed the primordial lightning. Then, he glanced at the golden blood in the jade bottle indifferently. Without saying anything else, he stepped into the teleportation formation of the 23rd floor. "Fellow Taoist Zhou, you have broadened my horizons again. The defense of that primordial lightning armor is really heaven-defying. Tai Yu cannot break it, and Ying Long probably won't be able to do so as well. I'm afraid fellow Taoist is already invincible in the battle against Ying Long. I'm just invincible. Ying Long can't hurt me, but I might not be able to hurt him either. For example, I can defend against Lightning Lord Tai Yu's attacks, but I might not be able to hurt him. Even if I use my killing sword with sovereign chi, I might not be able to break the defense of his physical body. At the end of the day, I'm still limited by my cultivation realm. If I want to eliminate Tai Yu, perhaps I can only use the third finger." "What third finger?" Lei Shi asked doubtfully. "Nothing. This is the last floor of the Lightning Palace. The next floor is where Ying Long is." Ning Fan and the others stopped in their tracks. In front of them, they could vaguely see a heavily guarded undead spirit expert. As soon as they saw Ning Fan and the others, they immediately shouted, "Stop right there. Lightning Lord Mo Lei has given an order. If fellow Taoist Zhou wishes to use the teleportation formation, you need to answer a question of the Lightning Lord. No matter if the Lightning Lord is satisfied with your answer, as long as you answer, you can pass through the teleportation formation." As soon as he finished speaking, thousands of divine transformation realm cultivators wearing armors and holding halberds rushed towards them and surrounded Ning Fan and the others. The ones who took the lead were 20 Void Glimpse stage experts and 1 Void Inquiry stage expert. The one who spoke was none other than Void Inquiry stage expert of the Lightning Palace. Even though he had Void Inquiry stage cultivation base, he was not Lightning Lord Mo Lei but the great commander of the Lightning Palace. "Answer a question? Don't tell me you want to fight me in a different way?" Lei Shi revealed his yellow teeth and smiled wretchedly. However, his eyes were filled with battle intent. Ning Fan did not express his opinion. He just glanced at the cultivators who were surrounding him and waved his hand to stop Lei Shi, who was eager to fight. "What question do you want me to answer?" Ning Fan asked the great elder. "Someone, bring the Lightning Lord's warrant, gifts, brush, and ink." The great commander's eyes flashed with a solemn expression. He then ordered his men to bring countless items over. There were dark golden bamboo leaves, primordial lightning, silver grade and gold grade lightning jades. All of them were naturally gifts. Apart from that, there was also someone who knelt in front of Ning Fan with a wooden tray which was filled with brush, ink, paper, and inkstone. Apart from that, there was also a warrant written on the paper. There was only one word on it: lightning. What kind of bullshit question is that? Lei Shi curled his lips. Although he looked frivolous, his eyes were filled with a hint of seriousness, as if he had seen through something. "I'm sorry. The Lightning Lord is currently in seclusion. He only said that he wanted to ask fellow Taoist Zhou a question and left this word behind." He did not specify what he wanted to ask fellow Taoist Zhou specifically. The great commander said apologetically, "It's all right. I understand what he means." The purple star in Ning Fan's left eye shone faintly. His eyesight could almost see through all the traces of magic power in the word lightning. Every stroke of this thunder character contained dermic powers. Every stroke contained the Lightning Lord Mo Lei's lightning Dao. However, the words that were drawn by the lightning power were not smooth and smooth. There was a hint of sluggishness between the lines, and it could not be completed. The reason why the lightning power could not be perfected was because Mo Lei had yet to advance to the void peer stage. He was still a void inquiry stage cultivator. This word was a question. Mo Lei wanted to ask Ning Fan how he could break through the shackles of the Tao of Lightning and reach the bottleneck of the void peer stage. Interesting. Ning Fan did not write down any words. He just picked up the paper with the word lightning and tore it into pieces. "How dare you!" The great commander's eyes flashed with anger. He thought that Ning Fan was too arrogant. Lightning Lord Mo Lei had prepared a generous gift to send Ning Fan to the 24th floor. All he wanted was to ask Ning Fan a question. Moreover, he would let Ning Fan go regardless of whether the answer was satisfactory or not. His request was not excessive. However, Ning Fan ignored Mo Lei's request and tore the warrant into pieces in public. It was undoubtedly a slap to his face. A warrior would rather be killed than humiliated. Even though the great commander knew how strong Ning Fan was, he still wanted to fight him. At this moment, a sigh of enlightenment suddenly resounded from the lightning palace in the distance. His indifferent voice was like a ray of lightning that cut across the vast sky. "Gong Bo, stop. I'm very satisfied with little friend's answer. 'Tis right." The one who spoke was none other than Lightning Lord Mo Lei. As soon as his voice fell, he turned into an elderly man with the demeanor of an immortal. His eyes were filled with emotion. "Little friend's Tao comprehension is indeed extraordinary. Your future will certainly be limitless." The elderly man cupped his fists and expressed his gratitude. "I also feel gratified to be able to help you." Ning Fan cupped his fists and returned the greeting. What he said made countless experts feel puzzled. Why didn't the Lightning Lord get angry when this young man tore the warrant of the Lightning Lord but thanked him instead? What kind of answer did this young man actually give to the Lightning Lord? The great commander was puzzled. Similarly, countless experts were also puzzled. Among the experts present, only the wretched Lei Shi seemed to have understood something. Lei Shi could vaguely see through the true meaning of Mo Lei's question. He was asking about how to comprehend the Tao of Lightning and attain the void peer stage. However, Lei Shi could not understand Ning Fan's answer. What does he mean by tearing the paper into pieces? Ning Fan and Mo Lei were talking in riddles. Only the two of them knew the answer. After that, under Mo Lei's order, all of the experts sent Ning Fan and the others to the teleportation formation respectfully. However, before they left, Ning Fan suddenly smiled meaningfully at a certain direction and muttered to himself, "Interesting. Are we going to have 2 more helpers on this trip?" After everyone left, the great commander asked suspiciously, "May I ask what question did you ask fellow Taoist Zhou, Lightning Lord?" What was his answer? I asked him how to break through to the void peer stage. In front of his subordinates, Mo Lei spoke bluntly without any shame. What? The Lightning Lord is a dignified void inquiry stage expert. Moreover, he is almost invincible among void inquiry stage experts. Why would he ask a junior who has not even attained the void refinement realm for such a question? He is just a divine transformation realm expert. How would he know how to break through to the void peer stage? The great commander became even more puzzled. Even though this young man's cultivation base is at the divine transformation realm, his understanding of the void has already broken through to the void inquiry stage. With your Tao comprehension, you won't be able to see it. Besides, what I'm especially concerned about is his understanding of the Tao of lightning. The biggest problem I face when I break through to the void peer stage is not the understanding of the void but the understanding of the Tao of lightning. This old man's Tao of thunder has always been incomplete. I heard that this young man has cultivated the secret technique of Lightning Emperor Tai Su. Therefore, I probed him and didn't have much hope. However, this young man's answer really surprised me. After cultivating the Tao of thunder for 10,000 years, this old man has finally seen the light today. That fellow Taoist, Zhou, merely tore off the Lightning Lord's token. How did he answer my question? This is the best answer. I asked the question by writing on the paper. The word, lightning, is all of my Tao of lightning. As for the paper, it is the heavenly Tao. My lightning lies within the heavenly Tao. However, under the heavenly Tao, I'm just an undead spirit. No matter how hard I study the Tao of lightning, there will always be a trace of flaw in my understanding of the Tao of lightning. I will never be able to compare to a living person. This is the will of the heavenly Tao. It cannot be resisted. In fact, this flaw cannot be made up for unless I reincarnate and cultivate again. I know all of this very well. Therefore, no matter what fellow Taoist Zhou wrote on the paper, it is trapped within the heavenly Tao and can't help me. That's why he tore off the paper, tore off my Tao of lightning and tore off the heavenly Tao. To this, the commander seemed to have understood something but was also puzzled at the same time. He only felt that the principle behind this small action of tearing off the paper was too deviant. His answer is only one. If the Tao obstructs me, I will abandon the Tao. If the heaven obstructs me, I will tear the heaven apart. This was his answer. I have cultivated lightning for 10,000 years. Today, I finally had an epiphany. I was too obsessed with my identity as an undead spirit, too obsessed with lightning and too obsessed with the heaven. All these attachments should be abandoned. The only thing that needs to be firm is the determination to break through to the void peer stage. As soon as Mo Lei finished speaking, a vast aura force gradually rose. He was not far away from breaking through to the void peer stage. Men, prepare for battle. We are going to battle now and attacking Long. Mo Lei suddenly gave an order, shocking countless experts. What? Could it be that the Lightning Lord is attacking Ying Long to help Zhou Ming? The commander said in surprise. That's right. This young man has solved my doubts. I will return him a favor. Then why didn't the Lightning Lord go with him directly? If I go with him, I will be like Lei Shi, kneeling before him. Even though I can help him, I am not his subordinate. I have my own pride. Are you the same as well? Tai Yu. As soon as Mo Lei finished speaking, his eyes suddenly turned cold and he looked at the hidden void space at the side. Immediately, a burly man with a black pagoda appeared in that hidden place. He laughed heartily. He was Lightning Lord Tai Yu. Ha! Old Mo's eyes are really sharp. You actually noticed that I am hiding here. I'm not the only one with sharp eyes. That fellow Taoist Zhou probably noticed it too. The words he said before he left were probably referring to us. Mo Lei sighed. He really could not figure out why Ning Fan's Tao comprehension and wisdom were so monstrous even though his bone age was only 500 years old. He could even tell that the two of them wanted to help him. Most likely, he also understood that the reason why they did not help him was because they could not put down their pride and were afraid that others would say that they were his subordinates. After all, not every old monster could be as shameless as Lei Shi, who was not afraid of being criticized by others. The reason why I helped him is to return the favor. But why are you helping him? If you harbor evil intentions, don't blame me for being merciless and attacking you. Mo Lei questioned coldly. Attack me? Old Mo, I can't defeat you and you can't defeat me either. I'm willing to help him and I also want to kill Ying Long for fun. This is the reason why I'm attacking him. It's up to you whether you believe it or not. I'm going now. Tai Yu laughed heartily and entered the teleportation formation by himself. Mo Lei's eyes revealed a strange expression. He sighed and shook his head. Then, he also led his men into the teleportation formation. After so many years, he still could not understand Tai Yu. This man was too casual. If he wanted to challenge you, he would even dare to fight against the Heavenly King. If he wanted to help you, he did not have a proper reason. However, what Mo Lei could predict was that with Ning Fan's strength and Tai Yu's help, he would not lose in the bloody battle on the 24th floor. I wonder if that Ying Long is already restless at this moment. Mo Lei said indifferently as if he did not care about Ying Long's life or death. Ying Long's lightning palace on the 24th floor. In a deep swamp, a winged yellow dragon's eyes were filled with rage after hearing the reports. His dragon roar shattered the vast sky. Impossible! How could this young man break through the defense of the 23rd floor of the Lightning Tower and come to my 24th floor in such a short time? This is absolutely impossible. Before his anger subsided, several message-transmitting flying swords flew towards him in a panic. Each of them was begging for mercy. Dragon King, save us. The water pass is in an emergency. The water pass has been breached. Iron Dragon City is surrounded. Dragon King, please lend us a hand. Li Mountain has been razed to the ground. Divine Cloud Valley has been breached. Each of the message-transmitting flying swords carried the grievous news of being slaughtered and annihilated. King Ying Long became even more furious. In the past, he was the one who chased after others. Since when did the people he chased after dare to be so arrogant as to kill his subordinates in his territory? Guards! I want to attack personally and kill this young man on the 24th floor. The yellow dragon flapped his wings and flew into the sky. With a flash of yellow light, he turned into a burly man in yellow robes. His face was as dark as iron. However, before he could attack personally, another black flying sword flew towards him and exploded in the dragon pool. A cold voice was heard. It was not the report of his subordinates but Ning Fan's voice. Ying Long Zi, your time of death has come. Arrogant brat. King Ying Long was enraged. He could not tolerate being provoked by a divine transformation realm junior like this. Just as he was enraged, earth-shattering sounds of battle could be heard from outside the dragon pool. Ning Fan is here. Chapter 431. A million miles away from Ying Long Lightning Palace, the desolate dragon lake had already turned into a sea of blood. Lei Shi led the group of cultivators from the myriad treasure pavilion and 200 illusory puppets. They were unstoppable as they fought their way through the battlefield. Holding the separation slayer in his hand, he walked through the pool of blood and swung his sword to kill his enemies. No one could withstand the might of his sword. In just 2 hours, countless forces that were attached to King Ying Long on the 24 floors of the Lightning Tower were wiped out by Ning Fan like the autumn wind sweeping away the fallen leaves. He didn't want to stir up trouble, but he wasn't afraid of it. If Ying Long wanted to hunt him down, he would have to pay the price. Zhou Ming, how dare you! More than 20 furious roars came from afar. Their traveling lights carried a vast aura force that could shake heaven and earth. Without a doubt, they were Void Refinement Realm old monsters. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He did not expect King Ying Long to have so many subordinates. 19 Void Glimpse stage experts and 3 Void Inquiry stage experts were his subordinates. Moreover, among the 3 Void Inquiry stage experts, other than one who was on par with Lei Shi, the strength of the other 2 was far above him. This brat dares to offend King Ying Long. Let's quickly suppress him. One of the Void Glimpse stage cultivators who spoke arrogantly bore the brunt of the attack and directly rushed towards Ning Fan. The speed of his traveling light was too fast, almost reaching the Void Inquiry stage. Relying on his astonishing speed, he did not put Ning Fan in his eyes at all and was prepared to finish him off with a single move. Due to his underestimation of the enemy, he did not expect to enter Ning Fan's formation diagram. Lightning flashed in Ning Fan's eyes. He had already noticed that this person had the intention to launch a sneak attack on him. Moreover, it was filled with killing intent. At the moment when this person was 10,000 zhang away from him, Ning Fan directly flipped his hand and flicked it. All of a sudden, lightning flashed in the sky and condensed into a scroll. Ning Fan raised his hand and flicked it, revealing a lightning painting scroll that depicted 10,000 li of rivers and mountains. The lightning runes and the blood-stained mountains and rivers appeared one by one in the painting. The sun, moon, and stars, as well as the momentum of the universe, all seemed to be secretly in sync with the lightning diagram. In the past, the lightning diagram only had ancient and profound runes. However, as it killed the Void Refinement Realm cultivators, devoured the 10 lightning dragons and devoured countless primordial lightning along the way, its grade had greatly improved. The painting of the blood-stained mountains and rivers gradually became clearer, revealing the patterns on the surface of the mountains and rivers. Its power increased greatly. Even if Ning Fan does not injure lightning cultivators of the Void Glimpse stage, he could still kill them directly. He was invincible among lightning cultivators of the same level as him. His ability to turn lightning into a diagram with a flip of his hand had exceeded too many people's expectations, especially the Void Glimpse stage expert who launched a sneak attack. He felt a chill run down his spine as he realized that the situation was not good for him. Without any hesitation, he tried to flee. However, it was already too late. Return. He shook the lightning diagram and kept this Void Glimpse stage expert into it along with the 10,000 li of the mountains and rivers. With just a shake, the mountains and rivers within 10,000 li turned into ashes. That Void Glimpse stage cultivator let out a miserable shriek and also turned into ashes. There was no way for him to escape at all. This lightning diagram is so terrifying. Is this the legendary Tai Su lightning diagram? Legend has it that after Lightning Emperor Tai Su, no one has been able to comprehend this technique. For this child to be able to comprehend it, his aptitude is too heaven-defying. This person is not someone we can fight against. Only the Dragon King can take him down. Each of the arrogant Void Glimpse stage old monsters felt fear in their hearts. None of them dared to attack Ning Fan anymore. Only the 3 Void Inquiry stage old monsters let out a cold harumph. Even though this lightning diagram is powerful, this child's cultivation level is obviously not high enough. It can only kill Void Glimpse stage lightning cultivators. He can't take away us Void Inquiry stage experts. Qi Ji, you go and deal with Lei Shi. Dao Li, you and this old man will kill this child together. Don't give him a chance to kill the other Void Glimpse stage experts. The Void Inquiry stage expert who spoke was the strongest among the 3 of them. His name was Cheng Huang. Among the 3 of them, Cheng Huang was the strongest. Dao Li was second while Qi Ji was the weakest. With Qi Ji dealing with Lei Shi and the other 2 attacking Ning Fan together, it was enough to show how much importance Cheng Huang placed on Ning Fan. He could tell how powerful the Tai Su lightning diagram was. With this diagram, Ning Fan could totally rely on this precious diagram to instantly kill ordinary lightning element undead spirits. In the past, he did not believe that Ning Fan had the ability to fight against a Void Inquiry stage expert. Today, however, he believed it. When the remaining 18 Void Glimpse stage experts saw that they did not need to fight against Ning Fan, they heaved a sigh of relief and fought against the cultivators of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion. Qi Ji blocked Lei Shi, not giving him any chance to help Ning Fan. Despite facing 2 Void Inquiry stage experts alone, Ning Fan did not show the slightest bit of fear. As for Cheng Huang and Dao Li, they did not give Ning Fan any time to think either. They immediately launched their most violent attacks by summoning their mid-grade mortal void treasures. Profound Void Lightning Sword. Violet Lightning Clear Frost. Both of their treasures were peerless treasures. Although they weren't immemorial mystical weapons, they were still rare treasures of the same level. Such a supreme treasure was enough to make them rarely have a match among the Void Inquiry stage experts. Unless their opponents were experts like Ying Long or Tai Yu, they would definitely not lose. 2 rays of terrifying sword light shot out, as if they were going to tear apart the Milky Way and mince Ning Fan into millions of pieces. Ning Fan couldn't avoid it, but he didn't plan to. He took a step forward and a suit of golden armor appeared on his white robe. So what if it's a mid-grade mortal void treasure? Boom, boom, boom. The 2 magic treasures carried a force that could overturn mountains and overturn seas. When they landed on Ning Fan's body, a deafening explosion resounded, causing each of the experts of the Lightning Palace to tremble with fear. It was as if the end of the world had arrived. Mountains and rivers shattered, the earth split open, and magma rose. On the great wilderness, large areas of land were turned into ruins. No matter how the world was turned upside down, Ning Fan stood proudly without a single scratch on his body. His golden armor had withstood millions of attacks from the 2 treasures, but not a single scratch was left on it. What kind of armor secret technique is this? Its defense is actually so heaven-defying. Not good. This young man is going to counterattack. Ning Fan's black hair fluttered in the wind and lightning, but his eyes remained calm. He pointed a finger at the sky. 99 black stars suddenly appeared in the sky. Black starlight that was like a veil fell from the sky and landed on Ning Fan's white robe and golden armor. It glistened brightly and added a strange aura to him. He clenched his 5 fingers and the starlight condensed into a black bow which was covered with 99 devil runes. The way he held the bow was completely different from the way the great elder of 6 wings held the bow. At this moment, the way he held the bow was just like Great Emperor Mo Luo. As for the natal black stars, the current Ning Fan was definitely a few times stronger than Mo Luo, who was at the same level as him. The lightning diagram dispersed and returned to Ning Fan's feet, expanding to 100,000 li. With Ning Fan's current magic power, it was only enough to shoot a single arrow. However, the lightning diagram had another advantage. It could store the magic power of lightning cultivators that it devoured and turn it into his own. That lightning diagram contained the vast magic power of 10 Void Inquiry stage lightning dragons. With the help of the lightning diagram, Ning Fan did not have to worry about having insufficient magic power before he uses up the magic power of the lightning dragons. In the past, the reason why Ning Fan did not use the magic power that he had stored was because he was waiting for today's battle to the death with King Ying Long. Die. Ning Fan's word was cold like the ice of the 9 nether realms. That arrow seemed to have pierced through heaven and earth. Sparks burned and the shadow of the arrow tore through the sky. Cheng Huang and Dao Li, who were targeted by Ning Fan's arrow, turned pale. Be careful and defend yourself. The destructive force of this arrow is extremely strong. If we are careless, even we might be severely injured by it. The 2 of them raised their magic treasures and attacked the shadow of the arrow. The 2 mid-grade mortal void magic treasures which had the power to destroy heaven and earth were repelled by a single arrow. Boom! The massive shockwave from the collision caused cracks to form all over the 2 magic treasures, greatly reducing their spiritual power. Both Cheng Huang and Dao Li felt their scalps go numb. Both of them were not body cultivators. If that arrow hits them, they would certainly be severely injured. What kind of archery technique is this? Why is it so powerful? Even mid-grade mortal void magic treasures can't withstand this arrow. Unless one's physical body has reached the 2nd level of the golden body refining realm, who else can withstand this arrow? However, powerful techniques will certainly consume magic power. Even though this young man destroyed our magic treasures, he used up all of his magic power at the beginning of the battle. He's really foolish. The 2 of them only knew that Ning Fan's magic power had been depleted and the wariness in their hearts was gone. They smiled coldly and performed a lightning technique with their fingers, closing in on Ning Fan. However, when they were halfway through their battle, they were suddenly startled. They saw Ning Fan looking at them with a mocking expression. Ning Fan raised his hand and drew his bow again. Another arrow shadow that could destroy heaven and earth was shot by Ning Fan. The sharp sound of the arrow almost pierced their eardrums and sea of consciousness. The arrow flew towards them with an unstoppable force, causing the two of them to tremble with fear. They could not understand why Ning Fan could shoot 2 arrows consecutively when he was just a half-step void refinement realm cultivator with limited magic power. Even with their magic power, they could probably only shoot 2 to 3 arrows. The destructive power of this magic technique was too strong and it consumed too much of their magic power. Could it be that Ning Fan's magic power is already comparable to a void inquiry stage expert? But how is that possible? The two of them were puzzled and no one could help them either. Half of their magic treasures were already destroyed and they could no longer use them. All they could do was to summon their protective armors and forcefully block that arrow light. Unfortunately, their protective armors were not Ning Fan's lightning armor. Its defense was too weak. Ning Fan's arrow pierced through both of their bodies. The remaining arrow shadows left them with serious injuries and directly bombarded their physical bodies. Cough cough cough. Qing Huang and Dao Li coughed out a few mouthfuls of blood. Luckily, they had their protective armors so their injuries were not serious. Both of their eyes turned gloomy. They were dignified void inquiry stage old monsters, but they were humiliated by Ning Fan with just 2 arrows. If they don't get back at him, how would they be able to calm their anger? They pondered inwardly. Even though Ning Fan's magic power was comparable to a void inquiry stage expert, his magic power would certainly be depleted after shooting 2 arrows and he would not be able to shoot the 3rd arrow. However, they were wrong again. This time, Ning Fan did not wait for them to attack Ning Fan. He drew his bow again and shot the 3rd arrow, the 4th arrow and the 5th arrow. Oh my god! This Zhou Ming can actually shoot 3 arrows consecutively with such terrifying archery skills. Another round of exclamations filled the air. Their voices were filled with respect. The magic power in Ning Fan's body was depleting at an extremely fast speed. However, the lightning power in the lightning diagram was rapidly replenishing his magic power. The Tai Su lightning diagram could be used to kill lightning cultivators at the same level as him. It could also be used to defend against lightning techniques of the same level. At the same time, it could also be used as a container to store lightning power. It was truly a supreme secret technique. No wonder this technique could be considered as one of the strongest abilities of Lightning Emperor Tai Su. It really lived up to its reputation. The lightning diagram contained all the magic power of 10 void inquiry stage lightning dragons. Ning Fan reckoned that after shooting 5 arrows, he could at least shoot another 25 arrows. The 3 arrows that were shot consecutively gave Qing Huang and Dao Li a great sense of danger. They could not resist it. The only thing they could do was to run. The two of them no longer had the courage to fight against Ning Fan. They really did not know how many more arrows Ning Fan could shoot. If Ning Fan shoots 5 or 7 arrows consecutively, they might even face the danger of dying. Unfortunately, even though they were fast at escaping, how could they be faster than the star arrows? Usually, the power of an archery technique could only be used once. If the attack fails, it would be considered a failure. With such a huge disadvantage, the destructive power of an archery technique was naturally slightly stronger than other magic techniques. Not only did it have a longer range, but it was also extremely fast. Its destructive power was also extraordinary. The speed of the 3 arrows was comparable to the speed of a void inquiry stage expert. 2 of them went after Qing Huang while the last one went after Dao Li. The sound of 3 star arrows piercing through bodies resounded. Both Qing Huang and Dao Li were hit by the arrows. They fell from the sky like wild geese that were shot down by a hunter and crashed heavily on the ground. Star devil flames ignited within their bodies. Their primordial spirits were burning and they were in excruciating pain. Dao Li was slightly better. He was only hit by 1 arrow. Even though he was injured, he could still stand up forcefully. His injuries were certainly not serious. He forcefully extinguished the star devil flames on his body and looked at Ning Fan with eyes filled with intense fear. Qing Huang, on the other hand, was in a miserable state. His entire body was burned by the devil flames. With his weak magic power, it was difficult for him to extinguish the devil flames. After one of his arms was burned, he could only barely suppress the devil flames. His injuries were definitely not light. His chi was extremely weak and his cultivation base had almost dropped to the void inquiry stage. I still have 25 arrows. Ning Fan's indifferent words were like a sudden clap of thunder, making the two of them feel numb. Ning Fan still had 25 arrows left despite having such a powerful archery technique. They could not withstand it. If they tried to resist it head-on, they would certainly die. They were afraid. They fled to other battlefields, no longer daring to confront Ning Fan head-on. They could only wait for King Ing Long to arrive and finish him off. Without the two of them blocking his path, Ning Fan was like entering an uninhabited land. He did not go after them. After all, they were void inquiry stage old monsters. Even if Ning Fan releases all of his star arrows and exhausts all of his magic power, he might not be able to kill them. Since he could not kill them, he might as well kill some old monsters that he could. Before King Ing Long arrives, he would kill as many Void Glimpse stage experts as possible. He drew his bow and aimed at a Void Glimpse stage expert. Then he released an arrow. The shadow of a starlight arrow was like the suppression of the Great Tao. Its momentum was overwhelming and unstoppable. When a Void Glimpse stage expert was caught off guard, Ning Fan shot an arrow and assassinated him. Star flames burned his body, turning him into ashes in an instant. Another Void Glimpse stage expert had fallen. This time, everyone's gaze fell upon Ning Fan. Only then did everyone notice that the two Void Inquiry stage experts who were fighting against Ning Fan had actually gained the upper hand and forced the other two Void Glimpse stage experts to retreat. At the same time, he drew his bow and shot the remaining Void Glimpse stage experts. As Ning Fan's killing intent rose, the remaining 17 Void Glimpse stage experts felt a sense of danger. Not good. Someone, come and stop this man. Each of the Void Glimpse stage old monsters knew how powerful Ning Fan's archery technique was. How could they have the courage to fight against him? They summoned groups of Nascent Soul Realm and Divine Transformation Realm undead spirits. However, even though there were tens of thousands of undead spirits gathered in one place, none of them could withstand the destructive power of a single arrow from Ning Fan. With a single arrow, hundreds of thousands of Nascent Soul Realm experts lost their lives. Blood flowed like a river. Countless Divine Transformation Realm experts perished. The land seemed to have returned to the desolate antiquity. It was covered in star flames and not a single blade of grass grew. As for Ning Fan, he would definitely kill a Void Glimpse stage old monster every time he drew his bow. The destructive power of the star-punishing bow was too domineering. In addition to the endless magic power provided by the lightning diagram, the current Ning Fan was almost invincible among Void Glimpse stage experts. No expert below the Void Inquiry stage could withstand a single arrow from him. In just the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Ning Fan had shot 20 arrows consecutively and killed 18 Void Glimpse stage experts. Most of the Nascent Soul Realm and Divine Transformation Realm experts were killed. Only less than 10,000 of them were still alive. Ning Fan had kept the strongest technique of the lightning diagram for this battle. He began his massacre like an unparalleled devil god. Qi Ji had already been severely injured by Lei Shi and the others. Cheng Huang and Dao Li's injuries had also worsened after being besieged by a group of experts. Ning Fan still had 5 more arrows. He drew his bow like a full moon and shot out 5-star arrows in succession. It was a secret archery technique that he inherited from Great Emperor Luangu. When the 5 arrows merged into one, Cheng Huang was horrified. His current injuries were too severe and his magic power was almost depleted. He did not have the strength to resist the star arrows at all. He wanted to run away, but he could not do so in time at all. The 5 arrows pierced through his chest. His body was engulfed in raging devil flames. After letting out a blood-curdling scream, he finally died. This Zhou Ming can even kill a Void Inquiry stage old monster. He definitely has the strength to go against King Ing Long. Voices of shock and fear resounded throughout the area, causing the morale of Ing Long's lightning palace to plummet again and again. Lei Shi and the other cultivators of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion had long become numb to Ning Fan's killings. He killed 18 Void Glimpse stage experts by himself, killed one with his lightning diagram and killed a Void Inquiry stage expert with his bow. Ning Fan's achievements today were enough to shake the 100 floors of the Lightning Tower. Since Cheng Huang was already dead, Ning Fan dispersed the lightning diagram beneath his feet and used up all the magic power of the 10 lightning dragons. His cold gaze swept across Dao Li and Qi Ji. When these two old monsters thought of Cheng Huang's fate, they shuddered with fear and nearly forgot the fact that they belonged to Ying Long's lightning palace. They abandoned King Ying Long and wanted to escape by themselves. Where do you think you're going? This time, before Ning Fan and Lei Shi could chase after them, two figures appeared outside the battlefield and stopped Dao Li and Qi Ji, who were trying to escape. The two experts who appeared out of nowhere were both at the Void Inquiry stage. Moreover, they were existences who were nearly unrivaled among Void Inquiry stage experts. Lightning Lord Mo Lei and Lightning Lord Tai Yu. Why you two are here to protect His Majesty, right? Could kill him quickly. The two of us will definitely ask for credit for you. Lord Dragon King will definitely reward you handsomely. When Dao Li and Qi Ji saw the two lightning lords, it was as if they had seen a life-saving straw in their despair. However, their words were only met with a snort of contempt from the two lightning lords. Protect His Majesty? Ying Long and I are both lightning lords. Our statuses are the same. Why should we lower our statuses and protect him? Ridiculous. Mo Lei and Tai Yu captured Dao Li and Qi Ji with a flip of their palms. Dao Li and Qi Ji were severely injured and were at the end of their rope. It was extremely normal for them to be captured alive by two peak Void Inquiry stage experts. The two lightning lords knocked out one of them each. Then, they landed on the ground and tossed the two unconscious experts to Ning Fan's feet. Fellow Taoist Zhou, we meet again. Count me in for the good deed of killing Ying Long. How about it? Tai Yu laughed heartily, as if he had already forgotten about the matter of asking Ning Fan to fight him. Ying Longzi is already not far away from breaking through to the Void Pier stage. His techniques are extremely powerful. Rumor has it that he once defeated a true Void Pier stage old monster. This person must not be underestimated. I owe you a favor. Today, I'm here to lend you a hand. Mo Lei cupped his fists and said, Thank you for your kindness. Ning Fan nodded his head. He had already expected that the two of them would return. When he was on the 23rd floor, he had already seen some clues. Looking at the two unconscious Void Inquiry stage old monsters under his feet, Ning Fan touched his glabella and took out the Separation Slayer sword. Without showing any mercy, he directly killed the two of them and devoured their primordial lightning. Killing two Void Inquiry stage experts was as easy as killing grass to him. His action made countless experts tremble in fear once again. They became even more respectful towards Ning Fan. As such, almost all the experts in Ying Long's Lightning Palace were killed except for King Ying Long. However, Ning Fan did not underestimate his enemies at all. Since King Ying Long was unrivaled among Void Inquiry stage experts and was able to defeat a Void Pier stage expert, his combat power was certainly not to be underestimated. He looked at the mountains in the east and his eyes suddenly turned solemn. At the next moment, Mo Lei and Tai Yu also seemed to have made up their minds. Their breathing became slightly disordered. It was obvious that they were nervous. Lei Shi and the other experts of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion looked at the eastern mountain. Their heartbeats quickened. A million li away from the eastern mountain, a vast aura force that was like an awakened giant dragon was approaching at lightning speed. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, a middle-aged man in yellow robes appeared on the peak of the eastern mountain alone. He looked down at the common people as if they were ants. His gaze swept across the battlefield and his anger grew. He had never thought that there would be a day when someone would dare to come to the 24th floor and stir up trouble. He had never thought that there would be a Divine Transformation Realm Junior who would disobey him and kill all his subordinates. The moment the middle-aged man in yellow robes appeared, Tai Yu and Mo Lei's battle intent surged. They took a step forward and shouted coldly, Ying Long, The era where you ruled the 24th floor is over. Today you must die. With just you two. Ridiculous. The middle-aged man in yellow robes was so angry that he laughed. He waved his hand and tore the void of 100,000 li apart. Countless void storms swept across the place. The void power poured down like a tide and flowed like waves, forming an ocean under his feet. He stood on the void waves. At this moment his magic power was endless. He circulated his spiritual energy and continued to recover. He looked at Emole and Taiyu with even more anger. He threw out both of his fists and the shadows of two dragons appeared behind him. His fists carried a destructive force that could collapse mountains and crack the earth. Void technique, double dragon. Emole and Taiyu's expressions changed drastically. 1,000 years ago, they were just slightly weaker than King Yinglong. However, 1,000 years later, they felt suffocated when they faced King Yinglong's fist light. The two lightning lords struggled to throw out their fists. Each of them went against King Yinglong's fist light. Emole was not good at body techniques. He was directly injured by King Yinglong's punch. As for Taiyu, even though he had the terrifying body technique of the second level of the Golden Body Realm, he was still sent flying by King Yinglong's punch. Blood flowed out from his mouth. Even though he was not severely injured, he still showed signs of being defeated. It silently showed the huge gap between him and King Yinglong. The two lightning lords stabilized their bodies and carefully looked at the void power that had gathered into an ocean. Then, they looked at King Yinglong, who was standing in the center of the ocean like a small boat. Suddenly, they understood something. Void Pierce Stage Chi Nurturing Technique. They finally understood why King Yinglong was so strong. It was because even though King Yinglong's cultivation realm had yet to reach the Void Pierce stage, he had already comprehended the Void Pierce Stage Chi Nurturing Technique. As long as a Void Pierce Stage old monster stood in the void, he could use the void power to condense his sea of chi, recover his magic power and temper his physical body. After condensing the sea of chi, not only did King Yinglong recover his magic power at an extremely fast speed, he could also use the void power to increase the strength of his physical body. His strength had already surpassed Emole and Taiyu by a lot. Zhou Ming, you must die. King Yinglong turned around. His eyes were filled with monstrous baleful qi. It was the endless killing intent that he had accumulated throughout his life. Under this baleful qi, Lei Shi and the other experts of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion could not resist his aura force at all. All of them retreated rapidly. Even the two lightning lords had to take a few steps back before they could stabilize their bodies. Their minds were slightly disturbed by the baleful qi. Ning Fan was the only one who did not take even half a step back. He treated the baleful qi as if it was nothing. He was not afraid of King Yinglong's baleful qi because he had experienced too many seas of blood and seen too many peerless experts. He had seen Yun Tianjue's domineeringness. That was the ferocity and invincibility of a void fragmentation realm old monster. He had seen the deathly battle between Great Emperor Mo Luo and Immortal Emperor Tai Su. He had seen Meng Xuanzi suppress the sound of the bell of samsara. He had destroyed one of Immortal Emperor Zhang Qing's eyes. He had even seen Immortal Sovereign Zido. Ning Fan, who had all kinds of experiences, would not be frightened by a mere King Yinglong. He would not. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with blood-red baleful qi. At this moment, he released a blood-red baleful qi that was a few times stronger than King Yinglong's. It covered the entire sky. Yinglong, you must die. Ning Fan was not afraid at all. He also replied coldly. This sentence carried an even stronger baleful qi. It actually made King Yinglong take half a step back. He lost control of his mind for a moment and his expression changed greatly. He, the dignified King Yinglong, was actually frightened by the baleful qi of a junior and took half a step back. This was a great humiliation that he found hard to believe. It made him want to kill Ning Fan instantly to vent the hatred in his heart. This young man's baleful qi is actually stronger than mine. How is this possible? King Yinglong gritted his teeth. He realized that he had underestimated Ning Fan from the very beginning. Moreover, deep in his subconsciousness, he already felt a little regretful. He regretted recklessly giving the order to hunt Ning Fan down that day, which led to today's disaster. However, he already had no other choice. All of his forces had been massacred by Ning Fan. Only by killing Ning Fan with all his might could he vent his anger. However, this time, before he could attack Ning Fan rushed into the void ocean first and took out a golden bell. At the moment the golden bell rang, the void ocean began to collapse. The void-pierced stage chi that King Inglong had painstakingly condensed was actually dissipating rapidly. What kind of bell is this? It can actually break the chi-nurturing technique of a void-pierced stage cultivator. A strong sense of astonishment rose in King Inglong's heart. He stared at the Eastern Ocean bell in disbelief. Then, a look of greed appeared on his face. This bell is too similar to the item that King Donglong is searching for. I must obtain this item. Chapter 432. The Void-Pierced Stage's Chi-Nurturing Technique borrowed the power of the Void to evolve the Sea of Chi. As long as the Sea of Chi remained intact, one's magic power would be inexhaustible. The magic power contained in the Sea of Chi beneath King Inglong's feet was at least the sum of the magic power of 10 Void Inquiry Stage experts. Stepping on his Chi Sea was very similar to Ning Fan stepping on the lightning diagram. With this technique, even if King Inglong faces the army of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion alone, he would not exhaust all of his magic power and be defeated. No one below the Void-Pierced stage could break his Sea of Chi. Even Tai Yu and Mo Lei, the two Lightning Lords, felt that they couldn't win against this technique. However, this technique was directly broken by Ning Fan using the Eastern Ocean Bell. In an instant, greed rose in King Inglong's eyes. He remembered that there was an old monster in a higher level who was trying his best to find this bell. After Ning Fan broke the Dragon King's Sea of Void Chi, Lei Shi and the other Void Refinement Realm cultivators of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion seized the opportunity and led 200 illusory undead puppets to attack King Inglong. King Inglong let out a bloodthirsty smile when he was faced with so many experts who were attacking him from all sides. His hands conjured the sun, moon, and stars in front of him. Suddenly, Xiao Chen's hands turned into dragon claws, tearing with force. The 5 claw marks looked like 5 ethereal beams of moonlight. Every beam of moonlight seemed light, but it had the power to suppress mountains and rivers. The moonlight was like a claw that could tear apart the void. A tearing force as vast as the moon immediately swept across the sky. Void Technique, Moon-Tearing Dragon. Lei Shi and the other 5 Void Refinement Realm experts had all their armors torn apart by the moonlight. Their bodies were badly mutilated and they fell to the ground with severe injuries. They had almost lost the ability to move. The combat power of 200 illusory undead puppets was equivalent to that of 20 Void Glimpse stage experts. However, nearly 50 undead puppets were torn into pieces by King Inglong. As for the rest, their bodies were damaged and their combat power was greatly reduced. Is this the true strength of King Inglong? Even an ordinary Void Inquiry stage expert like Lei Shi would not be able to withstand a single strike from him. Lei Shi, you're just an ant. Now it's your turn. King Inglong did not even look at those Divine Transformation Realm Juniors of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion. His eyes only swept across Ning Fan, Tai Yu and Mo Lei. Apart from these 3 people, there was no one else here that could make him pay any attention to them. Ning Fan's eyes became even more solemn. King Inglong's strength was far beyond his imagination. Is this the strength of an unrivaled Void Inquiry stage expert? Even though his expression was solemn, he wasn't afraid. However, Tai Yu and Mo Lei revealed expressions of fear. Impossible! 1,000 years ago, even though you were unrivaled among Void Inquiry stage experts, you weren't as strong as you are now. Defeating 6 Void Refinement Realm experts and 200 illusory Void Refinement Realm experts with a single move, you definitely couldn't have done this 1,000 years ago. But I understand now. You are already a half-step Void Pierce stage expert and you can enter seclusion to break through to the Void Pierce stage anytime. That must be the case. This isn't good. This Ying Long can already be considered as a half-step void pierce stage expert. He is definitely not someone we can fight. Fellow Taoist Zhou, let's retreat quickly. We have plenty of time in the future, so don't throw away your life here. Tai Yu and Mo Lei were shocked by King Ying Long's current strength. Fortunately, the two of them were not cold-blooded and heartless people. They did not have the intention to escape alone. Instead, they wanted to bring Ning Fan along with them. Unfortunately, Ning Fan would not escape in the end. Above the void refinement realm, the difference between each level was like the difference between heaven and earth. Ning Fan understood that no matter how heaven-defying a half-step void refinement realm cultivator is, they would never be able to defeat a half-step void pierce stage cultivator. In the eyes of countless people, it was absolutely impossible for him to defeat King Ying Long. He understood all of this. However, he still had a trump card that could make all the impossibilities possible. Hand over the golden bell and I will let you die in one piece. You are just a half-step void refinement realm cultivator. No matter how heaven-defying your combat power is, you are still an ant in my eyes. How dare you compete with the sun and the moon with the light of a grain of rice? Your death isn't to be regretted. King Ying Long's face darkened. He stood in the sky and looked down at Ning Fan and the others like ants. Even though his void pierce stage chi nurturing technique was broken, he was confident that he could kill Ning Fan within 10 breaths. Eh? Light of a grain of rice? Are you sure? Demon eyes. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with a hint of mockery. That was his last human-like expression. At the next moment, his eyes lost all expression and only coldness was left. He still had a trump card, which was to demonize his primordial spirit with the help of Mo Luo's blood and turn it into the body of a true devil. At this moment, a drop of Mo Luo's blood boiled inside Ning Fan's primordial spirit, turning it black bit by bit. Ning Fan's white robes were dyed black by the devil chi. His black hair danced wildly in the wind, making him look like a golden-armored devil god. He had 2 horns on his head, 6 wings on his back, and a ghost eye on his glabella. The only thing that did not change was his gigantic devil avatar. An unusually ferocious devil chi spread out from his body, freezing the surrounding space. At this moment, Ning Fan felt like he had fallen into the abyss of 10,000 devils and became one of the 9 great devil ancestors who stood at the peak of the devil Tao. Demon eyes. Mo Lei and Tai Yu's expressions changed. The experts of the Myriad Treasure Pavilion who were severely injured on the ground were also shocked. Rumor has it that the ancient devil race had many secret techniques and abilities. All of them required the power of blood to be used. One of the abilities was Demon Eyes. By devouring blood, one could become a devil and transform into the body of a true devil. However, the Demon Eyes technique had long been lost along with the loss of the blood. No one could understand why Ning Fan was able to use this lost ancient devil ability. Could it be that Ning Fan possessed devil blood? But how was that possible? I didn't expect an ant like you to actually know the Demon Eyes technique. However, if you think that you can fight against me with this kind of mystifying technique, you are just daydreaming. Ying Long said disdainfully. Is that so? Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. He glanced at Tai Yu and Mo Lei who were standing beside him. His indifferent words contained an irresistible devil might. Both of you, step back. What? Don't tell me you want to fight King Ying Long alone? You can't do that. The two of them wanted to dissuade Ning Fan, but he had already taken a step forward. His figure faded and disappeared without a trace. His movement technique was too fast. It was even above the void inquiry stage. It was so fast that Mo Lei and Tai Yu could not see it clearly. His aura force was too strong. Even though he did not have the intention to target the two of them, it still made their sea of consciousness hurt. They were pierced by Ning Fan's gaze. What Mo Lei and Tai Yu did not know was that Ning Fan's physical body had already reached the true first level of the golden body refining realm. Under the extreme state of the corpse devil body refining realm, his physical body was comparable to a cultivator at the second level of the golden body refining realm. He was definitely not any weaker than Lightning Lord Tai Yu. The moment Ning Fan disappeared, the corner of Ying Long's eyes suddenly shrunk. Without hesitation, he turned around and threw a punch behind him. At that place, Ning Fan's figure appeared like a ghost. The speed of his traveling light and the movement technique he used were almost at the true Void Pierce stage. Void technique, Twin Dragons. Both of his fists carried the shadow of two roaring dragons. The power of his fists was enough to destroy heaven and earth. Ning Fan, who suddenly appeared, looked at the incoming fist light. His eyes, however, were filled with indifference and coldness. The twin dragon fist light was enough to defeat Tai Yu and Mo Lei with a single strike. However, in the eyes of the demonized Ning Fan, this fist technique was still not enough to hurt him. He did not dodge or evade the attack. He just let the fist light land on his lightning armor. However, it only created layers of ripple-like lightning. It could not break the lightning armor at all. Moreover, when the fist light was about to disappear, he opened his mouth and swallowed the remaining power of the fist light into his abdomen. Refine it. The remaining power of the fist light was devoured by Mo Luo's blood. To Ning Fan's shock, he discovered that by devouring the fist force with Mo Luo's blood, he could actually use his devil blood to imitate a body refinement technique that was similar to this technique. All of King Yinglong's disdain turned into astonishment in front of the third-level golden armor. What kind of armor is this? Its defense is actually so heaven-defying. You don't need to know. Void technique, Twin Dragons. Ning Fan swung both of his fists. Above his arms, two shadows of black dragons intertwined and roared. This technique was actually imitating King Yinglong's body refinement technique with his devil blood. Moreover, the body refinement technique imitated by Mo Luo's blood seemed to be able to be improved upon. Its destructive power was even vaguely above the original technique. What? King Yinglong became even more astonished. Anyone would be shocked to see their own body refinement technique being secretly learned by someone right in front of them. Ning Fan's void technique of Twin Dragons was still not proficient and he only had a superficial understanding of it. However, the grade of Ning Fan's void technique of Twin Dragons was obviously much higher than King Yinglong's. Many of the details were more perfect. Boom! The light of the Twin Dragons landed on King Yinglong's chest, shattering layers of his inner armor and causing him to fall from the sky. The astonishment in King Yinglong's eyes turned into fury. His physical body, which was at the second level of the Jade Life Realm, was actually injured by Ning Fan with a single strike that was separated by countless layers of inner armor. Even though his injuries were not severe, he was still injured by an ant. He could not tolerate being injured by an ant. What he could not understand was how Ning Fan was able to steal his signature secret technique the moment they exchanged blows. Using Mo Luo's blood to refine the fist light of others, borrowing the power of the devil blood to imitate body refinement techniques and evolve the universe. Is this the power of the blood of the ancient devil race? The divine race cultivates magic power while the demon race cultivates spirit sense while the devil race cultivates body refinement. By borrowing the power of the devil blood, the speed of comprehending body refinement techniques is at least 100 times faster than the other two races. Ning Fan's mind gradually calmed down. Today was the first time he completely demonized and discovered the profoundness of the blood. Perhaps the reason why the ancient devil race was suppressed and their blood was extracted was because this blood was too heaven-defying. The spirit of the demon race was the ability to borrow power from heaven and earth. The blood of the devil race was the innate talent of body refinement. The Fuli demon blood gave Ning Fan the ability of spirit, while the Mo Luo devil blood gave Ning Fan the ability of blood. With Ning Fan's current cultivation base, he was still unable to fully comprehend these two abilities. However, it was possible for him to imitate other people's body refinement techniques using his devil blood. King Yinglong was also no longer scary. The Double Dragon Void technique is just a low-grade mortal void realm technique. It's not surprising that you can learn it secretly. However, I don't believe that you can even learn a mid-grade mortal void realm body refinement technique. King Yinglong calmed his mind and drew the Great Tao with both of his hands, evolving the sun, moon, and stars. It was the prelude to using the moon-tearing dragon technique just now. The moon-tearing dragon technique was also a body refinement technique. Its destructive power was extraordinary. With this attack, King Yinglong defeated 6 Void Refinement Realm experts including Lei Shi and 200 illusory undead puppets. Ning Fan circulated the devil blood in his body to the maximum. Above his right eye, 3 devil stars began to shine at the same time. The first devil star was an elemental devil star, the managing earth devil star. The second devil star was the divine ability devil star. It once contained an earth element divine ability. However, the destructive power of that ability was too weak and Ning Fan had long abandoned it. The third devil star was the strengthening devil star. After condensing his natal star, it gradually condensed, but it still did not obtain any strengthening attribute. As the devil blood was activated, Ning Fan suddenly felt as if his right eye was burning. To be more precise, it was the second devil star that was burning. The ability contained in the second devil star was being replaced by Mo Luo's blood. The ability contained in the second devil star was no longer an earth element magic technique. It was Mo Luo's eye. At this moment, Ning Fan's left eye was a demon while his right eye was a devil. His left eye was Fu Li while his right eye was Mo Luo. His left eye could break illusions and cast illusory techniques. As for his right eye, it was given an even more powerful ability by the power of blood. The burning pain in his right eye gradually disappeared. However, Ning Fan discovered to his surprise that after activating his devil eye this time, he could see some unimaginable things. For example, the flow of blood qi in King Yinglong's body was presented in front of Ning Fan's eyes without any reservation. Every trace of the flow was incomparably clear. The destructive power of a body refinement technique originated from the essence qi of a cultivator's flesh and blood. Mastering the flow of the blood qi was equivalent to mastering this body refinement technique. Imitating King Yinglong, Ning Fan changed his hand gestures and projected the illusions of the sun, moon, and stars. The blood qi in his body began to circulate along King Yinglong's meridians. King Yinglong's eyes widened in anger. He realized that Ning Fan was really arrogant enough to imitate his moon-tearing dragon technique on the spot. A strong sense of humiliation rushed into his heart. He stopped drawing the great momentum. At this moment, the circulation of the essence qi of his flesh and blood had reached its peak. Moon-tearing dragon technique. Moon-tearing dragon technique. 2 voices resounded almost at the same time. At the moment when King Yinglong displayed the technique, Ning Fan actually imitated the technique as well. The technique that he imitated was naturally not as skillful as King Yinglong's. However, his devil eye had seen through the technique and his devil blood had improved it. The grade of Ning Fan's moon-tearing dragon technique was definitely higher than King Yinglong's. Displaying a body refinement technique in front of the devil race who possessed devil blood was just like displaying one's slight skill in front of an expert. King Yinglong raised his 5 fingers and tore apart the moonlight on his 5 fingers. Ning Fan also raised his hand and tore down 5 rays of moonlight that could suppress mountains and rivers. Boom! The sky where the 2 of them stood was torn apart by a huge force. The void collapsed and the space trembled. The moonlight was like a huge dragon claw, each tearing at the void occupied by the other. The destructive power of this technique was not weak. After King Yinglong was torn by Ning Fan's moon claw, 5 bloody wounds appeared on his chest. The wounds were so deep that his bones could be seen. Blood kept flowing out of his wounds. His injuries were not light. With the help of the heaven-defying defense of his lightning armor, he directly blocked the Dragon King's moon claw without suffering any damage. Despicable! By secretly learning this king's body technique and relying on the lightning armor's protection, you can barely suppress this king. Do you dare to use your own strength to fight this king? King Yinglong roared indignantly. He was the one who was injured in both of their attacks. Ning Fan, on the other hand, remained unscathed. How could he accept this? Ning Fan ignored King Yinglong's anger. The devil blood imitated the enemy's body technique, and the thunder armor was condensed from his primordial spirit's thunder. How could they not be considered his own techniques? How despicable! He didn't like to talk nonsense. He didn't mind letting King Ing Long witness his true abilities. He took a step forward and disappeared once more. In the next instant, he appeared right in front of Winged Dragon and began a frenzied brawl. King Ing Long did not expect that Ning Fan would have the guts to fight him in close combat. He was an expert at the second level of the Golden Body realm, while Ning Fan seemed to be just at the peak Jade Life realm. However, as soon as they exchanged blows, he immediately realized that Ning Fan's physical body was not any weaker than his after his demonization. Each of his punches was powerful enough to collapse mountains and rivers. Each of his palm strikes was powerful enough to suppress heaven and earth. The two of them exchanged thousands of blows. Ning Fan was like a mad devil who only attacked without defending himself. With the protection of his lightning armor, why would he need to defend himself? All of King Ing Long's punches were blocked by the lightning armor. As for Ning Fan, each of his punches and palm strikes left indelible wounds on King Ing Long's physical body. Pieces of dragon scales fell from King Ing Long's body. They were all shattered by Ning Fan's punches. Drops of dragon blood splashed across the sky. They were all injured by Ning Fan's attacks. King Ing Long was unrivaled among Void Inquiry stage experts. With the protection of his lightning armor, Ning Fan could ignore all Void Inquiry stage attacks. The close combat between the two of them was earth-shattering. Mo Lei and Tai Yu were dumbfounded. They did not dare to intervene at all. Lei Shi and the others gradually regained their mobility. After suppressing their injuries, they raised their heads to look at the sky. The hollow space was shattered by Ning Fan and Ing Long time after time. That intense battle was not something ordinary people could intervene in. As time went by, Ning Fan's strength did not show any signs of weakening. However, King Ing Long's injuries became more and more serious. He could no longer fight against Ning Fan head-on. Each of the experts who were watching the battle wore a shocked expression. King Ing Long, who was unrivaled on the 24 floors, was showing more and more signs of being defeated. Ning Fan, who had undergone demonization, was actually so strong that he could defeat King Ing Long. Who is King Ing Long? He was an unrivaled being among the Void Inquiry stage experts. He had even defeated an ordinary Void Peer stage expert before. Ning Fan was actually going to defeat an expert of this level. This was undoubtedly shocking. Boom! After another collision, King Ing Long was sent flying away. He used all of his strength to attack Ning Fan's lightning armor, but he could not even leave a single crack on it. The toughness of this lightning armor was far beyond his imagination. King Ing Long deeply understood that if he does not use his strongest trump card, he would certainly not be able to defeat Ning Fan. Moreover, it was highly likely that he would die here today. I have no other choice. Even if I have to use the treasure that King Dong Long gave me, I must kill you. Void Treasure, Yellow Dragon Jade Token. While King Ing Long was retreating, he suddenly took out 7 dark yellow dragon-shaped jade tokens. When the 7 jade tokens soared into the sky, he transformed into a 6,000 zhang large yellow dragon with wings that could devour mountains and rivers. The yellow dragon jade token was just a mid-grade mortal void magic treasure. However, when the 7 jade tokens fused into one, its destructive power seemed to be even stronger than some high-grade mortal void magic treasures. It was enough to launch a Void Pierce stage attack. The magic power required to activate this treasure was too vast. King Ing Long even needed to transform into his true form in order to activate this token. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. The destructive power of this jade token was almost enough to shatter his lightning armor. The yellow dragon uttered a series of complicated and profound incantations. The vast heaven is dead. The yellow heaven shall rise. Suppress the yellow heaven. As soon as the incantation was uttered, the jade tokens turned into rays of golden light and vanished. At the next moment, the vast sky within 100,000 li turned golden. Layers of the sky spread out. There were a total of 7 layers of the yellow heaven. Suppress. The 7 layers of the yellow heaven pressed down from above. This was the true might that could overturn the heavens. Any Void Inquiry stage old monsters, or even some Void Pierce stage old monsters, would lose their lives under the suppression of these 7 layers of the yellow heaven. This was already King Inglong's strongest attack. This attack was enough to change the color of the wind and clouds. I also have my strongest attack. Let me show you what kind of destructive power it is when Mo Luo and Tai Su merge into one. Heaven-breaking sword finger. First collapse, second collapse and third collapse. Ning Fan raised his finger and pointed it at the sky. The bone of his index finger suddenly gave off a terrifying lightning light. This was the Emperor Bone Finger. Chapter 433. The heaven-collapsing sword finger could first collapse the mountains and rivers of the vast island, the second collapse the black sun of the sky, and the third collapse the bones of the void. The might of the third finger was practically no weaker than the star-punishing bow. Furthermore, with 3 consecutive points and 3 collapses as one, its might was even above that of the star-punishing bow. Originally, he had yet to successfully cultivate the third finger. However, Tai Su had bestowed him with immortal Emperor Realm magic power in the dream he had in his mind that day. After attaining the unity of heaven and man, Ning Fan was almost an immortal emperor through and through. With the help of the Tao comprehension of the unity of heaven and man and his magic power that was as vast as the ocean, he had nearly comprehended all the essences of the first 5 fingers of the heaven-breaking sword finger. With his current realm, he was still unable to execute the 4th and 5th finger, but after demonizing, he could barely execute the 3rd finger. Ning Fan raised his head and looked at the 7 layers of yellow skies that were falling from the sky. Then he took a deep breath. He saw the aura of the 7 layers of yellow skies that could suppress everything. He saw King Inglong's disdainful conceit. If it was any other Void Inquiry stage old monster, they would certainly die after being suppressed by the 7 layers of yellow skies. It was no wonder that King Inglong would be so conceited. King Inglong's yellow dragon jade token was extremely powerful. Even Tai Yu, Mo Lei and the other lightning lords could not withstand it. However, Ning Fan must withstand this attack. When he pointed his first finger, the mountains and rivers below him crumbled one after another. All of the crumbling force gathered at the tip of his finger, turning into a ray of dazzling sword light. It was dark yellow in color, symbolizing the great earth, mountains, and rivers. Without waiting for the sword light to shoot out, Ning Fan pointed his finger a second time. The 7 layers of yellow skies trembled at this moment. It seemed like it was going to collapse because of the second finger. However, it stopped immediately. The void shattered bit by bit, and the black shadow of the sun that quietly appeared also shattered. The collapsing power of the black sun in the sky turned into a second resplendent sword light. At this moment, the 2 sword lights turned gray and pointed at the sky. Ning Fan's eyes looked unprecedentedly solemn. This was the first time he used this finger technique with his own cultivation base. With a point of his finger, the void within a radius of 100,000 li shattered. The void that was as black as ink had buried too many experts and buried too many corpses. The target of this finger was the countless dead souls that were buried in the void. With a single point of his finger, the void collapsed, and the skeletons hidden in the void collapsed as well. Ghostly howls from the desolate antiquity came from the bones, bringing with them the exhaustion of liberation. Ning Fan was stunned all of a sudden. This 3rd finger seemed to be used to shatter the remains of the deceased to obtain the power of the finger. However, it actually had another purpose. Those who were buried in the void were trapped by the void, unable to enter the cycle of reincarnation after death. But this finger had shattered their bones and broken the cage of the void, sending them back into the cycle of reincarnation. The true meaning of the 3rd finger was not to kill, but to save. Perhaps the sword ancestor created this finger because he felt guilty for killing too many people in his life and wanted to send those experts who died in the void to reincarnation. Sword ancestor. Ning Fan closed his eyes. Suddenly, he felt a trace of respect for the sword ancestor whom he had never met before. Killing was necessary on the path to attaining the Tao, but killing was not necessarily a life and death enmity. If it's not a death feud, I'll kill you for the rest of your life to relieve you of your predicament and send you into the reincarnation cycle. This can also be considered as the sword ancestor's magnanimity. Ning Fan's expression gradually calmed down. A trace of profound and vicissitudes of power rose in his eyes. That power was the cycle of reincarnation. Even though it was just a trace of it, it was more in line with the true meaning of the third finger. His mind suddenly became incomparably broad, as if it could accommodate the entire cycle of reincarnation. The third ray of dazzling sword light condensed at the tip of his finger and dyed all 3 rays of sword light black. That black color was a metaphor for the deceased bones in the void. 4 silhouettes appeared in his mind one after another. Mo Luo's bloodthirst, Tai Su's righteousness, the sword ancestor's calmness, and immortal sovereign Zido's smile that could wipe out the cycle of reincarnation. Ning Fan had refined the immortal emperor's finger bone, which would certainly make the destructive power of this finger much stronger. His eyes glowed with an unimaginable light, making him as lofty as an immortal emperor. When his gaze swept across King Yinglong's dragon body through the 7 layers of yellow heavens, it actually gave him a soul-stirring feeling. When he pointed out his finger, the 3 rays of sword light pierced through the vault of heaven with destructive power, causing gales to blow in all directions. At this moment, Ning Fan was standing under the collapsing 7 layers of yellow heavens. He was majestic and unmoving, like an immortal emperor who had lived since ancient times until today. What kind of finger technique is this? It actually gave me such a terrifying feeling. What? This is absolutely impossible. All of his words were stuck in his mouth. King Yinglong's dragon eyes were filled with disbelief. His eyes were filled with ferocious traces of blood. Just as he was exclaiming in shock, the 7 layers of yellow heavens that were suppressing Ning Fan began to crumble one after another, along with the 3 rays of sword light. The 3 rays of destructive sword light pierced through the 7 layers of yellow heavens one after another. The first ray of sword light broke through 3 layers of yellow heavens. The second ray of sword light annihilated the 6th layer of yellow heavens. After destroying the 7th layer of yellow heavens, the third ray of sword light still had 2/3 of its destructive power left. It turned into millions of pitch-black sword threads which instantly surrounded King Yinglong's dragon body. King Yinglong's gigantic yellow dragon body was as tiny as a moth in front of the millions of sword threads. His eyes were filled with fear. The millions of sword threads spread out like a massive spiderweb, and King Yinglong was like a dying moth that was trapped in the spiderweb. He could not believe that his strongest trump card, the yellow dragon 7 tokens, was actually broken by Ning Fan with just 3 fingers. Chi traces of pitch-black sword threads broke through King Yinglong's dragon scale armor. Even though his physical body was at the 2nd level of the golden body realm, the sword threads actually left millions of wounds on him. His dragon blood splashed across the heavens and formed a river of blood. King Yinglong let out a miserable shriek. His dragon scales fell like snowflakes. Finally, under the attack of the heaven-breaking sword finger, he was severely injured. Hiss! Countless experts including Mo Lei and Tai Yu sucked in a cold breath at this moment. When they saw King Yinglong display the yellow dragon 7 tokens and summon the 7 layers of yellow heavens, all of them felt that they were unable to resist him. However, the suppression of the 7 layers of yellow heavens was broken by Ning Fan with just 3 fingers and 3 sword strikes. At this moment, Ning Fan was as arrogant as an immortal emperor, giving people the illusion that they wanted to fall to the ground and worship him. The destructive power of fellow Taoist Zhou Ming's finger attack has already reached the Void Pierce stage. Even if he is a true Void Pierce stage old monster, not everyone can withstand this attack. Since fellow Taoist Zhou Ming can display this finger attack, could it be that his cultivation base has already reached the Void Pierce stage? King Yinglong has been defeated. Fellow Taoist Zhou has defeated Yinglong. You should seize this opportunity to kill this evil being. Then, the 24 floors of the Lightning Tower will return to the situation where all the dragons are contending for supremacy. We will no longer submit to the Dragon King's prestige. Shouts resounded from all directions. There were countless experts hiding in this place. Some of them were neutral forces on the 24 floors, while some were experts from the lower worlds on the 24 floors and above. All of them were looking at Ning Fan with deep fear. No matter where they go, experts would always be looked up to by others. Since Ning Fan was able to defeat King Yinglong, he was undoubtedly a strong expert. Ignoring the countless respectful gazes, Ning Fan activated his devil body and turned into a 5,000 zhang tall black giant. His body was covered in golden armor and he finally displayed the last devil form of Mo Luo, the giant devil body. He opened his mouth and swallowed the 7 jade tokens that were falling from the sky into his abdomen, seizing the yellow dragon 7 tokens. The golden armored giant took a huge step forward and approached Yinglong. He grabbed the dragon's giant tail and smashed it on the ground like a whip. King Yinglong was severely injured by the sword finger attack. His chi was still stagnant and he could not resist the giant's attacks at all. He was like a huge helpless snake that was constantly being smashed on the ground. Each of his attacks would shatter countless mountains and rivers, producing a deafening sound that shook heaven and earth. All of a sudden, Yinglong, who had yet to recover his chi, became even more chaotic. His sea of consciousness was on the verge of shattering. After being smashed by the giant, his injuries became more and more severe. His consciousness became more and more blurry. He could not resist at all and could only let out angry and unwilling dragon roars. "Zhou Ming, you're courting death. How dare you injure me like this? I must kill you. I must kill you. Noisy!" The golden armored giant let out a disdainful roar. He had already crippled King Yinglong. How could he let Yinglong go? He must kill him today. The giant used an almost cruel method to extract Yinglong's dragon tendons, peel off all his dragon scales, break his dragon horns and break his dragon wings. Yinglong was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. His flesh was torn and his blood flowed like a river. At this moment he finally let go of his arrogant attitude. He was afraid. "Zhou Ming, you can't kill me. I am the subordinate of the Lightning Lord of the 90th floor of the Lightning Tower, King Donglong. If you kill me, King Donglong will never let you go. Let me go now." As if responding to Yinglong's cry for help, an aura force that was infinitely close to the void fragmentation realm suddenly descended on the 24th floor. "Yinglong is right. If you dare to touch my people, you must die today." As soon as this voice fell, an old man in golden robes suddenly descended. His eyes were as cold as frost. As soon as this person appeared, countless experts on the 24th floor exclaimed in surprise. "King Donglong. This man is the Lightning Lord of the 90th floor of the Lightning Tower. He has come to avenge King Yinglong." Rumor has it that King Donglong has already reached the peak of the absolute void stage a long time ago. He is already a half-step void fragmentation realm expert. If it wasn't because the Black Lightning Tower restricts the cultivation base of undead spirits and prevents anyone from breaking through to the void fragmentation realm, that King Donglong would have already become a void fragmentation realm old monster. I didn't expect him to come back. No matter how heaven-defying Zhou Ming is, he is definitely not King Donglong's opponent. The moment King Donglong appeared, Tai Yu, Mo Lei and the others were filled with despair. King Yinglong was unrivaled among void inquiry stage experts. Everyone was already afraid of him. A void pierce stage old monster could easily crush everyone. If he is an absolute void stage old monster, killing everyone on the 24th floor would definitely be as easy as blowing off dust. That King Donglong was not only an absolute void stage old monster, but he had also cultivated to the peak of the absolute void stage. Unless he is a true void fragmentation realm expert, who else could suppress him? Fellow Taoist Zhou, let's leave now. We definitely can't fight this King Donglong. Lei Shi and the others exclaimed. No need. He won't dare to go against me. Killing intent flashed in the eyes of the golden armored giant. He used both of his hands to tear Yinglong's waist into 2 pieces. At first, King Yinglong thought that Ning Fan would certainly not dare to hurt him after King Donglong showed up. However, he did not expect that Ning Fan would be so audacious as to kill someone in front of him. He let out a miserable shriek and was killed by Ning Fan. How dare you! King Donglong was enraged. He did not expect that a mere divine transformation realm junior would dare to kill someone in front of him. Moreover, he did not expect Ning Fan to speak arrogantly in front of him, saying that he, King Dong Long, would not dare to go against a junior. Humiliation. It was a blatant humiliation. King Dong Long was so angry that he laughed. He took a step forward and waved his hand. His heavenly dragon chi was like a blade or a halberd, trying to suppress Ning Fan's head. At this moment, a wave of void fragmentation realm aura force suddenly spread out from Ning Fan's body, causing King Dong Long's face to turn ashen. A void fragmentation realm attack. You actually have a void fragmentation realm attack. Who are you? Get lost. If I see you again, you will certainly die. The golden armored giant threatened coldly. King Dong Long hurriedly dispersed his dragon chi. For the first time in his life, he panicked and felt puzzled. But why could Ning Fan, a mere divine transformation realm junior, use a void fragmentation realm attack? King Dong Long was conceited. However, his conceit was not worth mentioning in front of a void fragmentation realm cultivator. He had cultivated to the peak of the absolute void stage and was only a step away from the void fragmentation realm. However, he would never be able to take this step in his life. The difference between him and the void fragmentation realm would forever be like the difference between heaven and earth. From Ning Fan's steel of sun and moon, he sensed a hint of the threat of certain death. This young man has a void fragmentation realm trump card. It's definitely unwise for me to go against him. This young man obviously has such a powerful trump card, but he only chased me away instead of suppressing me. Most likely, he will have to pay a huge price for using this void fragmentation realm attack. Or perhaps he only has the power for one attack and he doesn't want to waste it on me. No matter what, this young man has such a terrifying trump card. I must not offend him for a mere Ing Long. I heard that someone saw that this young man has a strange golden bell which can break the void power. It is for this bell that I deigned to descend to the lower worlds. I really want this bell. However, if I force this young man to use a void fragmentation realm attack because of this bell, the gains won't make up for the losses. Forget it. It's better not to provoke this young man. King Dong Long's mind raced. In the end, he gritted his teeth with mixed feelings. Reluctantly, he cupped his fists at Ning Fan and left dejectedly. He did not dare to go against Ning Fan. The scene left countless experts dumbfounded. King Dong Long came to Ning Fan in a threatening manner. However, he was humiliated and killed by Ning Fan in front of everyone. Why did he leave unwillingly? Of course, they did not know that Ning Fan had secretly released a trace of the suppressive chi of the steel of sun and moon to scare King Dong Long away. Looking at King Dong Long, who was fleeing far away, the golden armored giant's eyes turned slightly cold. However, he shook his head. If he uses the attack of the steel of sun and moon, he was confident that he could suppress King Dong Long. However, he was also confident that he would return empty-handed. It was not easy for him to complete the soul of the steel of sun and moon. If he uses this void fragmentation realm attack on King Dong Long and return empty-handed, it would be too wasteful. Without the confidence to kill King Dong Long, Ning Fan only scared him away. If he attacks, he must kill him in a single strike. Otherwise, he would only provoke a powerful enemy. This time, Ning Fan had already reached his limit by killing his way up to the 24th floor in a fit of rage. If he wants to go to a higher floor, he would have to face Void Pierce stage and Absolute Void stage enemies. Ning Fan knew that even if he demonized, he would definitely not be able to fight against those old monsters. After devouring King Ing Long's flesh and primordial lightning, he kept the lightning jade and picked up a dark lightning bamboo leaf. His eyes were filled with thoughts. He already had 24 dark lightning bamboo leaves. It was more than enough to give Hong Yi the task. It's time to go. I can't delay Yu Er's injuries any longer. There's also little Yu Er. After dispersing his demonized body, Ning Fan suddenly felt weak. He immediately consumed some pills to recover his stamina and magic power. With the protection of his third-level golden-grade lightning armor, he was not injured. However, the consumption of his magic power and stamina was quite significant. The demonization of his primordial spirit was too much of a burden on his body. The third-level golden grade lightning armor still needed to devour at least 90,000 traces of primordial lightning before it could break through to the fourth level. Ning Fan did not have the time to kill his way up to a higher floor. The only thing he could do was to temporarily give up on upgrading his lightning armor. Ning Fan's cold eyes swept across the area and issued a warning to the experts who were watching the battle. Then he walked towards Lei Shi and the others. "Congratulations, fellow Taoist Zhou. You killed Ying Long with your own hands. After today's battle, I'm afraid fellow Taoist's name will shock the entire 100 floors of the Lightning Tower." "That's right. I didn't expect fellow Taoist to not only kill Ying Long but also scare King Dong Long away. It seems like fellow Taoist has an extremely powerful trump card." Some of the voices were congratulating him, some were inquiring, and some were filled with inexplicable meanings. The only thing they had in common was that all of their eyes were filled with respect when they looked at Ning Fan, including Mo Lei and Tai Yu. Lei Shi was the only one who still wore a wretched expression. He rubbed his palms and chuckled at Ning Fan. "Fellow Taoist Zhou, are you leaving?" "That's right. About that. Fellow Taoist, a person of high status often forgets things. Think carefully. Before you leave, is there anything that you should do but haven't done?" Lei Shi blinked his eyes as if he was reminding Ning Fan that Ning Fan had promised him that he would give him all the lightning jades. "It seems like there's nothing that I've forgotten." Ning Fan pretended to be at a loss. As soon as he said those words, Lei Shi's eyes went blank. He felt as if he had just swallowed a fly. "It's over. It's over. It's all over." Could it be that Ning Fan has completely forgotten about our previous agreement? Just as he was scratching his ears and cheeks, thinking about how to tactfully remind Ning Fan about the lightning jades, Ning Fan had already handed him a storage pouch filled with lightning jades and left with a smile. "Don't worry. I don't have the habit of breaking my promise." Ning Fan walked towards Mo Lei and Tai Yu and cupped his fists towards them. "Thank you for your help. If fate allows it, I will certainly repay your kindness." The two of us didn't help fellow Taoist much. It was fellow Taoist who killed Ying Long with your powerful means. Tai Yu and Mo Lei smiled bitterly. They did not have the arrogance of a lightning lord. Other than helping to capture the two Void Inquiry stage experts, they did not do anything else. "I have something important to deal with. I have no choice but to leave. The mountains are high and the rivers are long. Let's meet again if fate allows it. Farewell." Ning Fan's gaze swept across the experts around him and cupped his fists. Then he summoned his heaven-deceiving cloak and disappeared. As for the peculiar smell of the fire scale ash, it was directly erased by Ning Fan using his golden purple mist. Previously, he just did not want to erase it. Under the cycle of samsara, what can't be erased? He has left. He doesn't have any intention of dominating the 24th floor at all. From the looks of it, he is indeed a living being just like what I expected. Is he the same as that Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou who came to the Black Lightning Tower to gain experience? Mo Lei sighed. Perhaps he will come back. At that time, he might be even stronger. At that time, I will be more than happy to have another battle with him. However, I'm afraid I won't be a match for him anymore. Tai Yu's eyes were filled with battle intent. He was looking forward to Ning Fan's next visit. Lei Shi received the storage pouch. He did not check how many lightning jades were inside it. He just looked at the direction where Ning Fan had left. All of a sudden, he withdrew all of his wretched expression and sent a telepathic message to Ning Fan with a solemn expression. "The mountains are high and the rivers are long. See you again." Using the heaven-deceiving cloak's concealment, Ning Fan avoided a lot of troubles and left each floor. Since there were no battles, he naturally left quickly. In just a day's time, he had already left the Lightning Tower. The trip to the Lightning Tower was like a dream. He accidentally obtained the immortal Emperor's finger bone, accidentally got rid of the hidden danger of his devil marks, and even condensed his lightning armor. Although his cultivation base did not improve, his combat power had increased by a lot. However, when he looked inside his body and saw the black devil chi on his primordial spirit that could not be erased, Ning Fan's expression turned slightly unpleasant. Under the situation where he had yet to completely assimilate Mo Luo's blood, the side effects of abruptly turning into a devil form were really not small. Currently, more than half of Ning Fan's primordial spirit had turned black. It had suffered some damage. If he completely turns black, it would probably be troublesome. Fortunately, the nature of his primordial spirit was firm and firm. It was not affected by the devil chi. Ning Fan formed a series of hand seals and forced out traces of devil chi from his primordial spirit. Perhaps in less than a month, he would be able to force out all of the devil chi and turn into a devil form again. After returning to the internal endless sea this time, if it's not necessary, it's better not to turn into a devil form again. Although Mo Luo's demonic body is powerful, its side effects are too great. Unless you completely refine Mo Luo's blood, there will be some damage to your soul after demonizing. I'm afraid it will be very difficult to completely refine Mo Luo's blood. After all, this drop of blood is the blood of Great Emperor Mo Luo. It possesses the power of blood. It can't be refined directly like the other heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures. If I want to devour this drop of blood, not only will I have to go to the Giant Devil clan, but I will also have to go to the Six-Winged clan, the Mist Horn clan, and the Ghost Eye clan. Perhaps there will be a way to devour this drop of blood. Ning Fan collected his thoughts and used the teleportation formation to leave the cloud realm in the upper layer, returning to the lower layer of the Black Lightning realm. As soon as he appeared, a beautiful figure dressed in red with a cold face immediately entered his sight. Her cold eyes clearly showed the dissatisfaction of waiting for a long time. I've waited for you for 10 days. You're finally back. Where's the thing? Can I get 7 bamboo leaves? Fortunately, I didn't disappoint you. I managed to obtain a little more than 7. Ning Fan secretly studied Hong Yi and his brows slightly sank. Even with his current combat power, he still felt that his chi was sluggish when facing Hong Yi. Even though this lady's cultivation base was at the void glimpse stage, the sense of danger she gave Ning Fan was far greater than King Ying Long's. In fact, she was even stronger than King Dong Long's. You still dare to probe me? Hong Yi's plain face became even colder. She had once reminded Ning Fan not to probe her again. However, she did not expect Ning Fan to have such a bad memory and probe her again. However, when she heard that Ning Fan obtained a little more than 7 dark lightning bamboo leaves, Hong Yi suppressed the coldness in her eyes. Her mood became slightly better and she no longer held Ning Fan responsible for offending her. Judging from the baleful chi on your body, it seems to have become much denser. Could it be that you killed your way up to the lightning tower? How many floors of the lightning tower did you go up and how many lightning leaves did you obtain? Hong Yi was slightly surprised. In fact, she already had an answer even though she asked that question. The process is not worth mentioning, but the result is quite satisfying. Why don't you guess how many dark lightning bamboo leaves I obtained? Ning Fan changed the topic and did not show off too much about the number of killings he had. Killing people was never a joyful thing. However, the path of seeking immortality and the Tao was too tortuous. Many times he had no choice but to kill. Even though he was decisive in killing and did not hesitate to kill people, he was not that perverted to the point where he would boast about the number of his kills. You want me to guess? Hong Yi gave Ning Fan a strange look. Other people had always answered her questions obediently. Ning Fan was the first person who asked her a question in return and made her guess the answer. Are you afraid that you won't get it right? Afraid? The corner of Hong Yi's mouth curved into a provocative smile. She had never been afraid of anything before. She rarely smiled. Even though her smile at this moment was a little provocative, it also carried a unique charm because of her natural beauty. Not only was it not scary, but it was also a little charming. Ning Fan's eyes were slightly stunned. He did not expect that someone as cold as Hong Yi would look so beautiful when she smiled. With your strength, if nothing unexpected happens, it won't be difficult for you to kill your way up to the 7th floor. You might even be able to dominate the 10th floor. I guess you obtained 10 bamboo leaves after killing your way up to the 10th floor. Hong Yi said with certainty. A little more than 10. You've killed your way up to the 11th floor? Hong Yi's cold and bright eyes revealed surprise for the first time. The guardian of the bamboo leaves on the 11th floor was a void inquiry stage expert. Hong Yi did not think that Ning Fan's weak body could fight against a void inquiry stage old monster. How many floors have you actually killed your way up to? Even though Hong Yi was not interested in anything in the world, she had to admit that she was now curious about Ning Fan. She took a few steps forward and approached Ning Fan. Her cold eyes carried a hint of aggressiveness. She did not want to continue guessing. She did not have that much patience. As she approached Ning Fan, she raised her cold but pure face and stared at him coldly without any emotion. At such a close distance, Ning Fan could even smell the unique fragrance on Hong Yi's body. How about we make a deal? I've obtained quite a lot of dark lightning bamboo leaves. I can give you 14 of them and the rest will all belong to me. However, you have to give me 100,000 years old spiritual herbs that I need to harmonize the bamboo leaves. You also need dark lightning bamboo leaves? The golden lightning bamboo leaves can save a void refinement realm expert. As for the dark lightning bamboo leaves, I don't think you have any use for them for now, right? Hong Yi pondered and said, aren't you just a void refinement realm expert? Why do you need the dark lightning bamboo leaves that only void fragmentation realm experts use? Ning Fan asked in return. He also had some speculations about Hong Yi. Forget it. It's fine if you don't want to tell me. Did you go up to the 14th floor? Hong Yi was slightly surprised. She did not think that Ning Fan had the ability to kill his way up to the 14th floor. I was just lucky. What do you think about this deal? Ning Fan's smile became deeper, making Hong Yi unable to understand his intentions. I don't need 14 bamboo leaves. 12 are enough. I can give the rest to you. Now, can you tell me how many bamboo leaves you have actually obtained? 24. You're just a half-step void refinement realm cultivator, but you actually managed to kill your way up to the 24th floor. Hong Yi's blood-red eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. Then, she perfectly concealed her expression and remained silent for a while. She realized that she seemed to have underestimated Ning Fan. With such strength, he might really be able to help her accomplish that important matter. Your strength really surprises me. Let's go. I'll bring you to meet a few people. Hong Yi quietly stepped back, distancing herself from Ning Fan and said casually. No one knew what she was thinking. Meet who? Ning Fan's heart became vigilant. Even though he had an agreement with Hong Yi, it was not to the extent where he trusted her completely. The people of the Zhou clan are on the Thunder Bamboo Island. The 100,000 years old spiritual herb is also in their hands. You can choose not to go. Hong Yi left gracefully. Ning Fan's eyes flashed and he immediately followed her. If it's just to save you Lingkong, obtaining the golden lightning bamboo leaf would be enough. However, in order to save Luo Yu, he must obtain the 100,000 years old spiritual herb and the dark golden bamboo leaf. He had yet to hand over the dark golden bamboo leaf to Hong Yi. With this information in his hands, he was not afraid that the people of the Zhou clan would do anything to him. He was also not afraid that Hong Yi would break the agreement. Ning Fan could also see that to Hong Yi, a precious 100,000 years old spiritual herb was not worth mentioning at all. The daughter of the Thunder Sovereign. Her identity is so respected and her vision is so high. Even a void fragmentation realm old monster would pay attention to a 100,000 years old spiritual herb. Yet she is so dismissive towards it. With the heaven-deceiving cloak and the steel of sun and moon, I can easily go to the internal sea. Even if this woman leads me to meet the cultivators of the Zhou clan with ill intentions, I won't be afraid. Besides, judging from this woman's motive, it seems like she still wants to rope me in. Even though she valued my wind mist finger technique, she did not value me this much. It seems like my sudden increase in combat power has changed her attitude towards me. In this world, if you want others to value you, you still need to change yourself. I still need to break through to the void refinement realm. However, breaking through to the golden body refinement realm is far easier than breaking through to the void refinement realm. With the power of my blood, my body refinement aptitude is 100 times better than ordinary cultivators. As long as I advance my devil marks to the martial rank, I will certainly be able to break through to the golden body refinement realm in one go. By then, even if my cultivation base has yet to attain the void refinement realm, no void refinement realm old monster would dare to look down on me. Ning Fan clenched his fists tightly. His eyes were filled with confidence. He was not far away from the golden body refinement realm. Chapter 434. After exiting the Black Lightning realm, they arrived at the Golden Lightning Heavenly Dwelling. Here, Hong Yi handed a sachet to Ning Fan. That sachet was a high-grade storage pouch that was loved by many high-grade female cultivators. It contained a lot of golden lightning bamboo leaves. She did not stop Ning Fan from erasing all the spirit sense imprints on the bamboo leaves. She understood that Ning Fan did that to prevent her from destroying the bamboo leaves. Compared to Hong Yi's calmness, Ning Fan was much more cautious. He only handed 7 dark bamboo leaves to Hong Yi. 7 bamboo leaves was the agreement they had made earlier. Later on, Ning Fan promised to give her 12 bamboo leaves. As for the remaining 5 bamboo leaves, he said that he would give her the same amount after obtaining the 100,000 years old spiritual herbs. Hong Yi's blood-red eyes were calm. She did not feel that there was anything wrong with what Ning Fan did. There was nothing wrong with being a gentleman before being a villain in the world. If Ning Fan deceives her, she would make him pay. If Ning Fan keeps his promise, she would also fulfill her promise and trade with him normally. She would give him the 100,000 years old spiritual herbs and order the Zhou clan to back him up in the internal sea. Hong Yi never took advantage of others, nor would she suffer losses. She was quite similar to Ning Fan. Miss Hong Yi, you kept your promise and gave me the golden lightning bamboo leaves. I really admire you for that. Ning Fan kept the golden lightning bamboo leaves and cupped his fists to express his gratitude. With these bamboo leaves, Yu Lingkong's injuries would no longer be a problem. Humph. Do you really think that I will break the great oath of Heart Devil for some golden lightning bamboo leaves? Hong Yi glanced at Ning Fan coldly. When she remembered that Ning Fan had forced her to use her great oath of Heart Devil, she felt a little displeased. Miss, you must be joking. You don't look well. Are you feeling unwell? Ning Fan changed the topic to avoid angering Hong Yi. After leaving the Black Lightning realm, Ning Fan finally had the mood to observe Hong Yi carefully. Only then did he notice that her face was a little pale and weak. 10 days ago, she definitely did not have such a feeling of weakness. I'm just a primordial spirit. The reason why I look so pale is because my primordial spirit is weak. It's not a big deal. You are the first man who has the guts to complain about my pale face. However, seeing that you're still useful to me, I can forgive you for your offense. Hong Yi frowned. Even though she did not care about her looks, she was still a little displeased when Ning Fan said that her face was pale. Moreover, the reason why her expression turned sour was because of Ning Fan. According to the original plan, Hong Yi could only stay in the Black Lightning realm for 7 days at most. After 7 days, regardless of whether she obtained the dark lightning bamboo leaf or not, she must first return to the outside world and meet up with the third elder and the others. He had to consume a certain amount of nourishing medicine to strengthen his soul. Otherwise, his soul would become weak and damaged. It took a total of 10 days for Ning Fan to head to the cloud realm in the upper layer. During these 10 days, Hong Yi had been guarding the teleportation formation at the lower layer to prevent the lightning beasts from destroying it and trapping Ning Fan in the cloud realm forever. Therefore, Hong Yi did not leave the Black Lightning realm on time, so her primordial spirit naturally showed signs of weakness. She did not tell Ning Fan about this because it was unnecessary. Ning Fan, on the other hand, felt rather speechless. He was just concerned about Hong Yi's complexion. He did not have the intention to humiliate her by saying that her appearance was ugly. He could only say that Hong Yi's temperament was just too strange. Hong Yi's complexion was not good, but her appearance was definitely not bad. Her hair was as black as ink, her skin was as white as snow, and her eyes were as red as rubies. Her eyelashes were long and curly, and her lips were moist and sparkling. She was an absolute beauty. She looked 70 to 80% similar to the Ning Honghong in Ning Fan's memory. However, she had an additional mature charm and a hint of arrogance and coldness. Her crimson dress was long enough to touch the ground. It looked like a red lotus and a blazing flame. The hem of the dress was decorated with several diamonds. It was luxurious and scorching. Ning Fan secretly observed Hong Yi's appearance. Gradually, he felt that something was amiss. What Ning Fan was especially concerned about were the 3 blood-red lightning stars on her glabella. Among them, only 2/3 of the 3rd lightning star was solid while the remaining 1/3 was illusory. Tai Su lightning star, huh? In the past, Ning Fan could not see through the profoundness of the lightning stars. However, now that he had completely condensed the Tai Su lightning star, he could see some of its mysteries. This lady's lightning star is only 2/3 solid. It's the same as what I guessed earlier. Have you seen enough? The corner of Hong Yi's mouth curved into a cold smile. Ning Fan was very bold. Extremely bold. He actually dared to look at her appearance like this. According to her temperament, if anyone dares to look at her face directly like this, she would certainly kill him to vent her anger. I'm sorry. Ning Fan shifted his gaze away. He could feel that Hong Yi was very repulsed by men. She was the daughter of the Lightning Sovereign. He did not plan to have any relationship with her. I have an agreement with the 3rd Elder that I will only stay in the Black Lightning Realm for 7 days. Now that I'm late by 3 days, I'm afraid the 3rd Elder has already brought some people to guard the bamboo forest. When they see you traveling with me later, I'm afraid they will be wary of you. However, you don't have to worry. You are useful to me. With me protecting you, no one in the internal sea will dare to hurt you. Follow closely behind me. Hong Yi's tone suddenly became domineering, giving Ning Fan an illusion that the current Hong Yi had the same aura as Yun Tianjue. After opening the exit of the Golden Lightning Heavenly Dwelling, Hong Yi and Ning Fan walked out side by side. As soon as they appeared in the outside world, Ning Fan immediately noticed that there were 4 extremely strong experts guarding the bamboo forest outside. Each of them was a Void Refinement Realm old monster who had lived in seclusion in the internal sea. 3 of them were Void Glimpse stage experts and 1 of them was a Void Inquiry stage expert. That Void Inquiry stage old monster wore a linen robe. His hair was white and his beard was white like a halberd. His eyes were like blazing flames. He was carrying an ancient and large sword case on his back. His aura force was extremely strong. It was not any weaker than King Ying Long. As soon as the 4 of them saw Hong Yi, they heaved a sigh of relief. However, when they saw Ning Fan following beside Hong Yi, each of their expressions turned into one of rage. It's you, Zhou Ming. I didn't expect you to leave the Lightning Bamboo Island that day. It was just a camouflage and you actually came back. You're courting death. Even if you are a revered elder of the Rain Palace and have Yun Tianju as protection, you still treat the Zhou clan of the Internal Sea as nothing. Today, this old man will come and have a taste of your skills. I want to see what kind of strength you are relying on to have the guts to provoke my Zhou clan. Master, this brat is audacious and presumptuous. He trespassed the Golden Lightning Heavenly Dwelling with the intention of harming you. He should be sentenced to death. The 3 Void Glimpse stage old monsters shouted angrily. Each of them stared at Ning Fan with eyes that seemed to be able to spit fire. Only the old man carrying the sword had extremely sharp eyesight even though he had an unyielding character. He could vaguely see that Ning Fan and Hong Yi were standing side by side. Judging from Hong Yi's attitude, she did not harbor any hostility towards Ning Fan. He waved his hand to stop the 3 Void Glimpse stage old monsters from shouting. Then, he cupped his fists and said to Hong Yi, "May I ask, Master, why are you traveling with this person? Why did you only leave the Black Lightning Realm after 3 days? Did something unexpected happen?" The old man's question was very tactful. If something unexpected happened to the Black Lightning Realm, it was very likely that Ning Fan had done something to it. If that was the case, he would definitely kill Ning Fan with his own hands. Don't worry, 3rd Elder. I am the dignified daughter of the Lightning Sovereign. How could I cause any trouble because of a Divine Transformation Realm Junior? Besides, It was because of this young man's help that I managed to obtain a sufficient amount of bamboo leaves in the Black Lightning realm this time. Even though the time was slightly delayed, the amount of bamboo leaves I obtained was beyond my expectations. Now, all the important matters can be carried out step by step. Hong Yi explained coldly. The daughter of the Lightning Sovereign? One of the Void Glimpse stage old monsters sounded doubtful. However, the old man immediately glared at him and he hurriedly shut his mouth. Mistress. It's really a joyous occasion for Mistress to obtain a sufficient amount of bamboo leaves. Since little friend Zhou has contributed, he is not considered as an enemy anymore. This is not a good place to talk. Mistress, please move to the Thunder Court Pavilion. Little friend Zhou, come with us. The old man's tone was respectful to Hong Yi. However, his words to Ning Fan left no room for refusal. When the other 3 Void Glimpse stage old men heard that Ning Fan was a friend and not an enemy, they also concealed their killing intent. However, there was still a lot of vigilance between their brows. Ning Fan did not say much and did not give any explanation. With Hong Yi explaining for him, he naturally did not need to speak. All he needed to do was to follow behind her. His eyes looked at the 3 Void Glimpse stage old monsters thoughtfully. He had never heard of these 3 Void Glimpse stage old monsters in the Endless Sea. They were probably the hidden experts of the Zhou clan. If it was before he entered the Thunder Bamboo Island, Ning Fan would still be a little afraid of Void Glimpse stage old monsters. However, after the trip to the Black Lightning Tower, Ning Fan's strength had skyrocketed. There were already tens of Void Glimpse stage old monsters who died in his hands. Moreover, these 3 Void Glimpse stage old monsters were lightning cultivators of the Zhou clan. Thus, he naturally would not put them in his eyes. However, the old man carrying the sword was different. He gave Ning Fan an extremely strong sense of danger. The Zhou clan was famous for their lightning cultivators. Even though this old man was an expert of the Zhou clan, he was not a lightning cultivator. Instead, he was a sword cultivator. Ning Fan's Tai Su lightning star could not restrain him at all. The strength of this old man was not weaker than King Ying Long. Moreover, he was not restrained by Lei Xing. If he fights against Ning Fan, he would probably be much more difficult to deal with than King Ying Long currently. The devil chi in Ning Fan's primordial spirit had yet to dissipate. Thus, he could not transform into his devil form for the time being. Even if he were to transform into his devil form, he might not necessarily be able to defeat this elderly man. In terms of strength, Ning Fan was not as strong as the elderly man. However, in terms of trump cards, Ning Fan had the steel of sun and moon and the heaven-deceiving cloak. Thus, he was not afraid of this elderly man. From Hong Yi's address, this old man with a sword on his back was the 3rd elder of the Zhou clan. A trace of memory entered his mind. Ning Fan vaguely remembered that when he killed Revered Flame, he had heard the name of the 3rd elder of the Zhou clan from the 2 Void Refinement Realm Palace Masters of the Rain Palace. The 3rd elder of the Zhou clan is named Zhou Qin. He is at the Void Inquiry stage. Rumor has it that he is only a step away from attaining the Void Peer stage. He has an unyielding character and kills people like scything flax. If I'm not mistaken, this elderly man with a sword on his back is Zhou Qin. Zhou Qin is the same as the other old monsters of the Zhou clan. All of them are servants of Thunder Sovereign Buzhou. They will only serve the Thunder Sovereign as their master. However, he addressed Hong Yi as his master previously and then changed his way of addressing her. When the Void Glimpse stage old man first heard that Hong Yi was the daughter of the Thunder Sovereign, he seemed to be a little surprised. Could it be that there's something wrong with Hong Yi's identity? She's not the daughter of the Thunder Sovereign, but the Thunder Sovereign. Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly solemn. If it's as he had guessed, some of the things that he could not figure out before could be solved. However, rumor has it that the Thunder Sovereign cannot leave the Sovereign's tomb. Moreover, there has never been any information that says that the Thunder Sovereign is a woman. My guess seems to be a little arbitrary. Are you doubting my identity? Hong Yi, who was walking beside him, suddenly revealed a cold smile and transmitted her voice to him. Who you are has nothing to do with me. Ning Fan said resolutely and decisively. After Hong Yi questioned him, He was almost 90% sure that Hong Yi was not the daughter of the Thunder Sovereign. However, if Hong Yi is the Thunder Sovereign, he still did not have much confidence and he was not interested in making such a guess. Just like what he had said, he did not want to know Hong Yi's identity, nor was he willing to interfere. Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou and the Rain Palace seemed to have a lot of complicated grudges. He did not want to get involved in those grudges. Well said. Don't get involved in unrelated matters. If you don't have any proof, don't say too much. This is the way to protect yourself. Hong Yi's expression turned calm. No one could tell whether she was happy or angry. Ning Fan calmed himself down and followed Hong Yi and the others into the Thunder Official Pavilion. The location of the Thunder Official Pavilion was also a forbidden area on the Thunder Bamboo Island. It was extremely secluded and a supreme grand formation was set up. However, there were no cultivators guarding the place. Ning Fan vaguely guessed that the reason why there were no cultivators guarding this place was probably because Zhou Chen and the others were afraid that someone would see Hong Yi. Apparently, even if Hong Yi was not the Thunder Sovereign, her identity was also quite troublesome and could not be revealed to others. After entering the pavilion, everyone took their seats. Hong Yi sat on the main seat while the 4 experts guarded her like a myriad of stars surrounding the moon. As for Ning Fan, he sat at the corner. Zhou Chen and the others reported something to Hong Yi one after another. All of them used code words and they even transmitted their voices to Ning Fan during crucial moments. Ning Fan could not understand any of them. Then they talked about their trip to the Black Lightning Realm. Hong Yi briefly told her about how she met Ning Fan and also described his contributions. When they heard that Ning Fan had obtained 24 dark bamboo leaves with his half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivation base, the 3 Void Glimpse stage experts sucked in a cold breath at the same time. It was impossible for them to not be shocked. Even if the 3 of them had heaven-defying concealment abilities that allowed them to hide from the ferocious beasts that guarded the Black Lightning Realm and enter the Black Lightning Tower, none of them could move freely on the 10th floor, let alone kill a Void Inquiry stage expert and obtain the dark bamboo leaves that were above the 11th floor. When they heard that Ning Fan was proficient in a mysterious wind mist magic technique that could erase some special marks, even Zhou Chen, who was at the Void Inquiry stage, could not sit still anymore. The 4 of them finally understood why Hong Yi, who had always been cold-blooded, would look up to Ning Fan. It turned out that Ning Fan's wind mist magical technique could contribute a lot to that important matter. Third Elder, I have an agreement with this young man. He found me 7 pieces of dark lightning bamboo leaves and I will give him all of the golden lightning bamboo leaves. Moreover, I will teach him a magic technique and ask the Zhou clan to protect him. I have already made the Heart Devil great matter. From today onwards, the Zhou clan of the Endless Sea must treat Zhou Ming as our distinguished guest. No force is allowed to attack Zhou Ming in the Internal Sea. Those who disobey will be killed by Void Refinement Realm experts. Hong Yi followed the agreement and gave Zhou Chen and the others an order to protect Ning Fan. Moreover, the level of protection she gave them was quite high. She could send Void Refinement Realm experts of the Zhou clan to protect Ning Fan. Immediately, the expressions of the 3 Void Glimpse stage experts changed, and they advised. What? All the Void Refinement Realm experts of the Zhou clan have an agreement with the Rain Palace that we are not allowed to act openly. Rumor has it that this Zhou Ming is especially good at stirring up trouble. If he causes a great calamity, our Zhou clan may have to expose our hidden trump cards in order to protect him. Shut up. Didn't you hear that the young miss had already made a heart demon oath? No matter what, we must complete the young miss's order. We cannot let the young miss violate the heart demon oath. Without waiting for Hong Yi to speak, Zhou Chen directly shouted at the 3 of them and immediately cupped his fists at her. Young miss, please calm down. The 3 of them have just attained the Void Refinement Realm in the past 5,000 years. They don't understand the young miss's temperament. Please forgive them. Zhou Chen understood Hong Yi's temperament very well. Hong Yi did not like anyone to refute her. In the past, if the 3 of them dared to question her orders, she would certainly kill them immediately. These 3 Void Glimpse stage experts did not understand Hong Yi's temperament. They did not know how dangerous it was to contradict her. That was why Zhou Qin hurriedly tried to smooth things over. He was afraid that the three of them would offend Hong Yi and die in vain. Zhou Qin, on the other hand, was puzzled. In his memory, Hong Yi had never made an oath to anyone, let alone the heart demon oath. He glanced at Ning Fan from the corner of his eyes and thought to himself, Ning Fan must have some extraordinary means to make Hong Yi swear an oath. Since he was able to obtain 24 dark bamboo leaves from the Black Lightning Tower, he must have killed his way up to the 24th floor. Even Zhou Qin would find it difficult to enter that floor. Moreover, Zhou Qin could not break through the defense of the ferocious beasts at the entrance of the Black Lightning Realm at all. Humph. This time, Zhou Qin has pleaded for you. Next time, I don't want anyone to question my orders. Hong Yi's beautiful blood-red eyes suddenly flashed with a terrifying ray of lightning. That ray of lightning was too fast. In just a flash, it was impossible to see its trajectory clearly. However, the three Void Glimpse stage old men felt a sharp pain in their sea of consciousness as if it was about to shatter. If it wasn't for Hong Yi's mercy, the three of them would certainly die. The three of them immediately broke out in a cold sweat. They hurriedly cupped their fists to apologize and no longer dared to disobey Hong Yi. Ning Fan's expression remained unchanged, but he was inwardly speechless. This woman has such a cold temperament. Hong Yi was only cold to him, but she was cold to the others. Compared to that, Hong Yi's indifferent attitude towards him was already extremely polite. He did not interfere. That was the Zhou clan's internal matter. It had nothing to do with him. What made Ning Fan happy was that with Hong Yi's order, the Zhou clan of the Internal Sea would become his backing from today onwards. Ning Fan did not expect the Void Refinement Realm Zhou clan to come and help him when he gets into trouble. However, just the prestige of the Zhou clan alone was already enough for him to benefit a lot. A revered elder of the Rain Palace and a distinguished guest of the Zhou clan. This time, Ning Fan could be said to have the upper hand in the Endless Sea. Third elder, how many 100,000 years old spiritual herbs do you still have? Hong Yi suddenly asked. Don't worry, my lady. I still have 100 tufts of spiritual herbs with me. All of them were painstakingly collected by me for 10,000 years. Each of them can be used as supplementary herbs to harmonize the dark lightning bamboo leaves. Zhou Qin said respectfully. Only 100 tufts? The lightning power of the dark lightning bamboo leaves is extremely strong. Each bamboo leaf needs at least 5 tufts of 100,000 years old spiritual herbs to harmonize. In other words, if I take 60 tufts of them, there will only be 40 left. Zhou Qin, take 40 tufts of 100,000 years old spiritual herbs and give them to Zhou Ming. Hong Yi said in an irrefutable manner. What? This time, even Zhou Qin was shocked. He had the urge to refute Hong Yi. 100,000 years old spiritual herbs were required to concoct 7th revolution pills. Each tuft of them was extremely expensive. Even though there were no 7th revolution pill masters in the Rain world, 100,000 years old spiritual herbs could also be used to concoct 6th revolution pills. It would be difficult for even Void Fragmentation Realm old monsters to obtain 100,000 years old spiritual herbs. As the third elder of the Zhou clan and a Void Inquiry stage expert, Zhou Qin only managed to find 100 tufts of them after spending 10,000 years. Each tuft of spiritual herbs contained Zhou Qin's painstaking efforts. How could he simply give away such precious items? It was not that he was reluctant to give them away, but these spiritual herbs were necessary for Hong Yi to ascend to the peak again. How dare you disobey my order? Hong Yi's eyes turned cold. The sun and moon can bear witness to this old servant's loyalty. Other than healing the injuries of your primordial spirit, these spiritual herbs also need to be used in the important matter in the future. If you lose these spiritual herbs, I'm afraid it will take a long time for you to recover your cultivation base. You don't have to worry about this. Zhou Ming's wind mist finger is of great help to me. It can exempt me from the medicinal bath of those 100,000 years old spiritual herbs. Go, take 40 tufts of 100,000 years old spiritual herbs and give them to Zhou Ming. Zhou Qin gritted his teeth. Everything he did was for his master. He could run around for 10,000 years just to accomplish his master's important matter. He could wear out his ruthlessness and he would never disobey any of his master's orders. However, this was a serious matter. He did not dare to act recklessly. Zhou Chen looked at Ning Fan's direction. The hesitation in his eyes turned into determination. Then he rose to his feet. "Miss, this old servant needs to personally verify whether he has the strength to help you accomplish your important matter. This old servant understands. This old servant has violated Mrs. Rules and I deserve to die for my crime. However, Miss, please allow me to sever one of my arms to atone for my crime on account of my past contributions. Zhou Ming, if you want 100,000 years old spiritual herbs, then receive a sword attack from me. If you receive this sword attack, you can take the medicine." Qi Zhou Chen's white hair fluttered in the wind. A strong aura force was emitted from the sword case on his back along with the sound of a sword hum. All of a sudden heaven and earth changed color. The sword Qi was like a dragon. "Do you dare to receive a sword attack from me?" "Why wouldn't I dare?" Ning Fan suddenly rose to his feet. He knew that if he could not receive a sword attack from Zhou Chen, he would certainly not be able to take the medicine. He did not know what secret Hong Yi and the others were talking about. However, just for Luo Yu's sake, he must obtain 100,000 years old spiritual herbs to harmonize the dark golden bamboo leaves and cure her. Luo Yu was injured because of him. He would never abandon her. "If I receive a sword attack from the third elder, please give me the medicine." A terrifying baleful qi spread out from Ning Fan's body, causing everyone in the hall to be shocked. It was the baleful qi left behind by tens of thousands of Divine Transformation Realm and Void Refinement Realm experts after their deaths. Ning Fan had killed more than 10,000 Divine Transformation Realm experts along the way, and there were countless of them whose cultivation bases were lower than his. Even Zhou Chen felt his mind being in a mess when facing this baleful qi. Hong Yi raised her beautiful eyes. Her face was filled with surprise. She had been surprised by Ning Fan too many times. In the Rain world, the strength of this young man's baleful qi can be ranked first among those below the Void Fragmentation Realm. Chapter 435. Zhou Chen's sword qi was like a dragon while Ning Fan's baleful qi was monstrous. On the Thunder Bamboo Island, the weather suddenly changed. Tens of thousands of cultivators were shocked. Countless cultivators rushed towards the forbidden area of the Thunder Official Pavilion. Hong Yi suddenly stood up. She held a token in her hand and activated the great formation of the Thunder Court Pavilion, concealing all the ripples from the battle. The three Void Glimpse stage experts were instructed by Hong Yi to leave the Thunder Official Pavilion at once to stabilize the situation on the island. Ning Fan didn't care about the actions of others. In his eyes, there was only Zhou Chen. This Zhou Chen was far from being as strong as Yun Tianjue. However, among the Void Refinement Realm old monsters, he was definitely one of the best sword cultivators. His sword intent was fundamentally different from Yun Tianjue's sword. Ning Fan infused his sword intent into his body and carefully savored Zhou Chen's powerful sword intent that was rushing towards him. Gradually, he understood what was going on. Sentimental sword. Furthermore, the love within the sword is the love between a man and a woman. If it is further subdivided, it is the love of sorrow. As soon as his words fell, Zhou Chen's old eyes immediately flashed with surprise. He was surprised that Ning Fan was able to see through the essence of his sword intent at first glance. That's right, the sword intent he comprehended was the emotionless sword. Compared to the majority of emotionless sword cultivators, he, Zhou Chen, was an exception. The love he had placed in the sword was the love between a man and a woman. That love had ended in tragedy. In Zhou Chen's entire life, he had fought against countless sword cultivators of the Rain world. Among them, those who could see through his sword intent was a sort of emotion were all Void Refinement Realm sword cultivators. Those who were able to see through the relationship between a man and a woman on the basis of the emotion sword were at least Void Inquiry stage sword cultivators. Those who could see the sorrow in the sword must be sword cultivators with Void Fragmentation Realm vision. In Zhou Chen's entire life, he had only met 3 such people. One of them was Yun Tianjue. As for the other 2, one was the Rain World Sword Emperor and the other was a 4 heavens wandering rogue immortal. Ning Fan was the 4th person. It was not strange. Ning Fan's Tao of Sword might not be the strongest in the 9 worlds. However, among countless sword cultivators, his vision was definitely the highest. This old man has underestimated you. Even though your cultivation base is low, your comprehension of the sword is unparalleled in the Rain Immortal world except for the white-clothed sword god. If it wasn't for the 100,000 years old spiritual herb, this old man would definitely be willing to make friends with the sword and befriend you. I'm a loyal servant. Sorry for offending you. As compensation, I'll let you see the sword that I cherish the most in my life. Zhou Chun gritted his teeth and pointed with his finger. The sword sheath on his back suddenly let out a clear sound. It was a sound that was unparalleled in both ancient and modern times. Suddenly, Zhou Chun had a long sword in his hand. It was a wooden sword. The wood of the wooden sword exuded a hint of the fragrance of begonia. If Ning Fan did not smell wrongly, it was the wood of begonia pendula. This sword was extremely ordinary, as if it would break with a gentle shake. However, Ning Fan understood that an extremely ordinary sword would become the most extraordinary sword in the hands of a swordsman like Zhou Chun. When he was in Gusu, he had once comprehended the sword, and he had long since understood the principle of a weak sword is a strong intent, and a strong sword is a weak intent. If it was a flying sword, the stronger and lighter the material, the better. After all, it was inevitable that magic treasures would collide. If he were to use a heavy sword, he would also need to pay attention to the material used. He would need to wield it in a large manner to sweep away an army of 1,000. Zhou Chen's sword was clearly not a flying sword, nor was it a heavy sword. This sword was an intense sword. It made the body of the sword infinitely weak, allowing it to unleash the strongest sword intent. What Ning Fan needed to defend against was not Zhou Chen's sword light, but his sword intent. The sword intent was all-pervasive. Even the lightning armor could not completely defend against it. Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly grim. Originally, he was prepared to summon the lightning armor to defend himself. However, it seemed like he could not resort to tricks now. He needed to show his true strength. Otherwise, he would definitely not be able to withstand a single sword attack from Zhou Chun. The 3 Void Glimpse stage experts had already returned after calming down the situation. When they saw Zhou Chen actually using a wooden sword, their expressions changed greatly. What? The 3rd elder actually used the begonia wooden sword. This sword kills without spilling blood. Rumor has it that the 3rd elder has only used this sword to kill Void Inquiry stage old monsters in his entire life. There are at least 10 Void Inquiry stage experts who died because of this sword. I didn't expect that the 3rd elder would actually use this sword against a mere Zhou Ming. A mere Zhou Ming? Ning Fan frowned slightly. These 3 Void Glimpse stage old monsters really thought highly of themselves. Did they really think that Ning Fan was an ant? If he wanted the Zhou clan to be his backing, he could not let them look down on him. At least, he had to show them enough strength to make them think highly of him. Since that was the case, he could not hold back anymore. Lightning armor, appear. Ning Fan changed his hand seal. It was the hand seal to summon the primordial lightning armor. As Void Refinement Realm experts of the Zhou clan, the 3 Void Glimpse stage experts naturally knew about the secret technique of the primordial lightning armor. However, this technique was extremely difficult to cultivate. It required one to devour primordial lightning in order to achieve some success. Other than the Thunder Sovereign, who had cultivated this technique to an extremely high level, there had never been a cultivator of the Zhou clan who had cultivated this technique above silver armor. Killing a divine transformation cultivator, who had to be a lightning cultivator, would allow him to refine a bolt of primordial spirit lightning. In order to defend against Void Refinement Realm attacks, one would need golden armor at the very least. It was impossible to break through the golden armor without tens of thousands of elemental lightning. Rumor had it that once the lightning armor entered the golden grade, the amount of elemental lightning required would be even greater. There were only a few hundred divine transformation realm warriors in the internal ocean, and this was after including the resources of the 4 races of the Hidden Ocean and the Zhou family. Not to mention that lightning cultivators were the minority among these experts. Even if they killed all the semi-god realm cultivators in the rain world, they would not be able to collect enough primordial thunder to break through the golden armor. In the eyes of the 3 void glimpse stage experts, this technique was undoubtedly a useless technique. When they saw Ning Fan displaying this technique, they naturally did not think much of it. This technique must have been given to this young man by Mistress. This young man is just a divine transformation realm junior after all. He only knows how to summon a silver-grade lightning armor to resist the Third Elder's strongest sword attack. How can such a poor defense withstand the Third Elder's sword intent? There's no need to watch anymore. This young man will definitely lose. As soon as the 3 of them finished speaking, all of them suddenly became mute. Their eyes were as round as camel bells and they were filled with disbelief. Ning Fan's white robes were suddenly covered with a golden lightning armor. Moreover, that golden armor was emitting a vast lightning power that was enough to defend against a void pierce stage attack. It was obviously a 3rd-grade lightning armor. Impossible! This young man actually cultivated his lightning armor to the 3rd grade. How is this possible? After the Thunder Sovereign, there is actually another expert in the Rain world who cultivated his lightning armor to the 3rd grade of the Golden grade. With this armor alone, this young man is able to dominate the Void Inquiry stage and rarely has a worthy opponent. Because with this armor, there are almost no Void Inquiry stage old monsters who can hurt him. As for us, even though we are Void Refinement Realm experts, we are just Void Glimpse stage experts after all. Even if we use our full strength, we certainly won't be able to hurt a single hair of his. The 3 Void Glimpse stage experts were astonished. They were speechless. All of their contempt towards Ning Fan vanished at this moment. Hong Yi, who was watching the battle at the side, looked at Ning Fan, who was like a golden deity. Her cold eyes were filled with surprise again, and she murmured to herself, "This young man has just entered the Black Lightning Tower once. In just 10 days, he has actually obtained such a large amount of primordial lightning. It really surprises me. Even when I was collecting primordial lightning in the past, I didn't have this speed." Even Hong Yi, who entered the lightning tower alone, could only obtain the primordial lightning by slaughtering others. Naturally, her efficiency and speed in collecting primordial lightning were not as high and fast as Ning Fan. With Lei Shi's help, Ning Fan could directly purchase the primordial lightning. He caught up with the crowd's anger and became the hero who slaughtered Ying Long. Every time he went to a floor, there would be a lightning lord of that floor who would do their best to collect primordial lightning and give them to Ning Fan. Ning Fan was not fighting alone, nor was he collecting primordial lightning alone. Thus, his speed was naturally not comparable to Hong Yi, who was traveling alone. Zhou Chen took a deep breath. His eyes became even more solemn, and he said in a clear voice, "Zhou Ming, although your thunder armor is strong and can block Dharma and body arts, it can block physical attacks. However, it can't block intent. Demonic intent, divine intent, or demonic intent will work as well. At the end of the day, all kinds of intents are concepts. Magic power cultivates the corporeal while intent realm cultivates the void. The reason why one needs to improve their intent realm to break through to the divine transformation realm and void refinement realm is because it requires the cultivator to understand the transformation between corporeal and void. The first step of intent realm is the corporeal realm. The second step of intent realm is the void realm. The third step of intent realm is the legendary, true realm. Each intent realm is born with a grade. However, this grade can be improved step by step through comprehension. My sword intent is called the begonia sword intent. I comprehended it with the help of a drooping silk begonia. When I first comprehended it, it was inferior and had no grade. However, after painstakingly cultivating this intent realm, the grade of this intent realm has risen step by step to the 9th grade, the 8th grade, and then the 7th grade. Today, this begonia sword intent is already a 6th grade intent realm. Little friend, take my sword. Zhou Chen said a lot of things in a long-winded manner. In fact, he was giving Ning Fan some pointers. He was imparting his comprehension towards the cultivation of intent realms to him. It was to compensate him for the mistake he made when he drew his sword against Ning Fan. When he drew his sword against Ning Fan, firstly, it was against Hong Yi's order. Secondly, it was against his own conscience. After witnessing Ning Fan's comprehension of the Tao of Sword and the strength of his lightning armor, he already had the intention to befriend him. However, he was loyal to his master wholeheartedly. He could not bear to lose the spiritual medicine. Even if he lost the chance to befriend Ning Fan, even if he had to go against Hong Yi's order, and even if he had to cripple one of his arms after the battle, he could only draw his sword. In his life, love had already passed away. All he had left was kindness. His loyalty towards his master was originally just to repay the kindness. If he also loses his kindness, he would only be left with the sorrow of having his Tao turned into nothingness after cultivating alone for 10,000 years. Every single word of Zhou Chen's went into Ning Fan's ears. Every single word he said was the Tao comprehension that Zhou Chen had personally experienced 10,000 years of loneliness. It could be said that every single word was worth 1,000 gold. Countless cultivators of the rain world begged Zhou Chen, but he would not tell them anything. Today, however, he really had no choice but to draw his sword against Ning Fan. The only compensation he could get was this Tao comprehension. Ning Fan carefully digested Zhou Chen's words. His understanding gradually increased. His divine intent was the rain, his devil intent was the mountain, and his demon intent was the Fu Li intent. With his shocking Tao comprehension, he had comprehended 3 types of intent realms one after another and eventually merged them into one. However, until the moment when the memory intent realm was born, he still could not see through the essence of the intent realm. He only knew that the memory intent realm was the 2nd step intent realm. Today, Zhou Chen told him that the cultivation of the intent realm was actually the cultivation of the word void, which was cultivating magic power into reality while cultivating the intent realm into nothingness. All the puzzles he had in the past were solved today. From nothingness to reality, condensing magic power into cultivation. From reality to nothingness, breaking magic power into intent and shattering the void, one could become a life immortal. After comprehending the true Tao, one could become a true immortal. Ning Fan's mind became even more blank. Because of Zhou Chen's guidance, countless of his doubts were cleared. His path of cultivation was naturally less bumpy. Thank you. He cupped his fists at Zhou Chen. He did not blame him but only expressed his gratitude. The reason why Zhou Chen drew his sword against him was not because of a personal grudge. It was because of his loyalty. He was definitely not a despicable person. Thus, Ning Fan did not blame him. Zhou Chen had given Ning Fan a Tao comprehension. Ning Fan was naturally grateful towards him. However, at this moment, both of them could not be merciful in a battle of magic power. Both of them had to give it their all. Ning Fan's eyes became even more focused while Zhou Chen's mind was completely immersed in the begonia wooden sword. Zhou Chen had a reason to draw his sword while Ning Fan had the determination to save Luoyu. It was a battle of magic power, but it could reflect all the bloody shadows of the cultivators. There were too many times when cultivators had no choice but to fight and kill each other in order to fight for the limited cultivation resources and to protect their own Tao. Sword rise. Zhou Chen suddenly raised his sword. His killing intent was like the clouds. Before activating his sword intent, a sword chi rushed towards Ning Fan. It was enough to kill an ordinary void glimpse stage expert. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with surprise. Zhou Chen was definitely the one who released this sword chi unintentionally. The sword chi that he unintentionally released was already enough to kill an ordinary void glimpse stage expert. If he releases his sword intent with all his might, wouldn't it be able to instantly kill a void inquiry stage expert? No wonder the 2 void refinement realm experts of the Rain Palace were so afraid when they heard Zhou Chen's name in the past, as if they had heard some kind of nightmare. Although Zhou Chen was still one step away from the Void Peer stage, in reality, he had already taken the lives of several Void Peer stage experts and even an absolute Void stage expert. If it wasn't for some special reasons, this person would definitely not remain at the Void Inquiry stage. Even though he was not as monstrous as Yun Tianjue, he was definitely a sword cultivator who could dominate the Rain world. Qi traces of sword qi that he casually released hit Ning Fan's chest, creating waves of lightning ripples. Relying on the strength of his lightning armor, Ning Fan managed to block these casual sword qi attacks. However, he knew that what was truly difficult to block was the strongest sword intent that Zhou Chen released using the weakest sword. Zhou Chen raised his hand. This sword intent is coming. Not good. Retreat quickly. The three Void Glimpse stage experts fled in terror almost instantly. They only felt slightly relieved after they left the grand formation of the Thunder official pavilion. Hong Yi naturally did not need to flee. However, when she saw Zhou Chen's unchanging and persistent sword intent, she sighed for the first time. Zhou Chen, you are still as stubborn as before. I have used the white lightning erasure technique for you 4 times, but you still can't forget your past. If you can forget, you were already a Void Peer stage expert 10,000 years ago. Today, you are already a Void Fragmentation Realm expert. Among the elders under me, your aptitude is obviously the highest. Even with Hong Yi's cold and indifferent personality, she still felt sorry for Zhou Chen. It was enough to show how high his aptitude was. Hong Yi just sighed. Then she returned to her usual indifference and stared at Ning Fan quietly. All of her attention was focused on him. How many years can you endure under Zhou Chen's sword intent? If you can endure for more than 100 years, I will save you. If you can't, I will let you suffer a little. Who asked you to provoke me so many times in the past? As soon as Hong Yi finished speaking, she frowned. It's strange. Why did I take revenge on Ning Fan? Is it because of the incarnation of the 10,000 tufts of lightning grass? It's a little troublesome. It was indeed troublesome. In the past, Hong Yi was as cold as ice. After her primordial spirit became 10,000 times stronger, she subdivided all of her primordial spirit into grass in order not to affect her heart. Grass and trees were emotionless. On the day when her primordial spirit became one, she naturally would not have any emotions. Unfortunately, one tuft of lightning grass was touched by someone. It took the form of a human and had a heart and emotions. To Hong Yi, who cultivated the Tao of emotionlessness, this emotion was a poison. Even traces of her past memories were stirred up because of that trace of emotion. I'm not Ning Hong. I'm Hong. Hong Yi frowned. She used the white lightning erasure technique again to erase the trace of memory that she had just regained. She used to be Ning Hong, but now she was not. She wanted to be herself again. The emotions that she felt at that moment were also extinguished and everything returned to normal. If he can endure for 100 years, I can save him for the greater good. If he has already died in 10 years, there's no point in me saving him. There's no value in me using him. Hong Yi's tone became cold and emotionless again. Ning Fan looked at Zhou Chen and then at the wooden sword that was slightly red in color. The sense of danger he felt became stronger. At the next moment, Zhou Chen's sword intent drowned Ning Fan like a tidal wave. A cold and sorrowful old voice came out from Zhou Chen's mouth. 4 styles of sorrowful sword. The first style, 10 years of life and death. The sword intent that was like tidal waves completely ignored the toughness of his lightning armor and directly invaded Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. The grade of Ning Fan's memory intent realm was at the second step. It was far above Zhou Chen's 6th grade sword intent realm. However, his comprehension towards the intent realm was far less profound than Zhou Chen's. It was because Zhou Chen's sword intent contained the sorrow of his 10,000 years of Tao cultivation. That sorrow was irreparable and there was no way to express it. It turned into the most painful sword intent that could break a cultivator's heart. Ning Fan's eyes became dull. In just a moment, he felt like he had experienced 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years and 10,000 years. It was a memory that was as sorrowful as a sword, and it belonged only to Zhou Qin. Ning Fan's mind was sealed by the sword intent. His consciousness was immersed in an imaginary world. The place where he was standing was a small mountain village with picturesque scenery. His appearance had changed drastically. He was now a 16-year-old young man with a sword on his back. However, his appearance was completely different from Ning Fan's. Instead, he looked somewhat similar to Zhou Qin. Ning Fan's head was dizzy and painful. He could not remember the past. A trace of power of the memory intent realm flowed in his sea of consciousness. After a while, his eyes became clear and he recognized that this place was a remnant dream. Zhou Qin would never have thought that Ning Fan's power of intent realm was memory. Moreover, he woke up from Zhou Qin's memories. This is the world of Zhou Qin's sword intent. When the sword intent from the outside world comes into contact with it, it will only last for a moment. However, this is the deepest part of one's consciousness. This place is like a dream. No one can extricate themselves from this dream of sword intent. Only Zhou Qin's 10,000 swords can penetrate their hearts and kill them. As for me, I woke up with the help of the power of the memory intent realm. Zhou Qin had miscalculated. Ning Fan was standing under a malice tree. The malice tree grew at the entrance of the small village. Behind the begonia tree, a young girl in pink clothes walked out of the tree shyly and gave Ning Fan a sweet smile. The young girl had delicate features. Her black hair was tied up high. There was a scar on the left side of her face, but it did not cover her beauty. She looked at Ning Fan with eyes that were filled with infatuation and passion. "Brother Qin, I heard that the immortal master of the Qiyu sword faction has taken a liking to you and you are about to be accepted as his disciple. Congratulations." The young girl's beautiful eyes were filled with tenderness. However, Ning Fan was not moved by it. Instead, he felt a little annoyed. Even though he was passionate, he was not that passionate to the point that he would fall in love with a girl whom he did not know, even if it was a dream. "I'm not Zhou Qin." Ning Fan's tone was cold. His eyes scanned the surroundings and walked out of the village, trying to find a way to break free from the sword intent lock. Just as he was about to leave the village, he was suddenly pulled back by the young girl. "Brother Qin, father said that if you join an immortal sect and become an immortal master, you will have money and power. Then you will save me and not want me." I didn't believe it at first, but you. The young girl cried helplessly because she was heartbroken. Her smile was just a forced smile. Who would like their lover to leave their side? "I'm not Zhou Qin." Ning Fan turned his head coldly. However, when he saw the young girl's face again, his heart suddenly softened. Seemingly in order to make Ning Fan fall into the dreamland, the young girl's appearance had also changed into Jiha. "Brother don't go." The young girl knelt on the ground and begged helplessly. "Jiha." Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He did not like it when someone schemed against his woman. Even if it was a dreamland, he would not allow it. "Who is Jiha?" "I'm not Jiha. I'm Haitang. Mu Haitang." The young girl stood up in anger. She was angry that Ning Fan actually called her name wrongly again. When Zhou Qin was young, he liked to tease Mu Haitang. He often called her name wrongly on purpose to make her angry and then make her laugh. The scenes that were happening in front of Ning Fan's eyes were all the sorrowful sword intent of Zhou Qin. Zhou Qin wanted to use his sorrowful sword intent to create an illusory dream to imprison Ning Fan's mind, making him sink into sorrow and letting thousands of swords pierce his heart. That was the strongest sorrowful sword intent. No matter what, I'm still displeased that he used Jiha in a battle of magical power. However, this is my illusory dream. Zhou Qin's sword intent should only make me dream about my Dao companion. It's not intentional. He can't see my dream, but I can see his past. From this point of view, if I break his broken dream, I will have won this sword attack of his. Knowing that Zhou Qin did not have the intention to scheme against Jiha, the anger in Ning Fan's eyes diminished slightly. He gently helped Mu Haitang up. No matter what, the current Mu Haitang was Jiha while Ning Fan was Zhou Qin. Even though their names were different, in Ning Fan's eyes, Jiha was Jiha. No one could hurt her. Zhou Qin's broken dream ended with sorrow. His lover must have suffered an unexpected disaster, causing him to be lonely for 10,000 years. The pain would never be erased. On one hand, Ning Fan wanted to break his broken dream. On the other hand, he could not allow Mu Haitang, who had turned into Jihe, to suffer any harm. He pulled Mu Haitang up and protected her in front of him. His eyes were filled with tenderness. "Follow me." "Brother Qin, where are we going?" Mu Haitang's eyes flashed with joy when she saw that Ning Fan did not have the intention to abandon her. "To the Qiyu sword faction." It seems like Zhou Chen's experience and cultivation started from the Qiyu sword faction. "If you follow me, no one can hurt you. Jihe, I've told you many times. I'm Haitang Mu Haitang," the young lady said with displeasure. She had Jihe's body, but she carried Mu Haitang's memories. Not long after they left the village, a great calamity suddenly befell the small village. An old Taoist with long eyebrows at the harmonious spirit realm stood in the sky, looking down on the village as if it was an ant. "I didn't expect that Senior Brother Sect Master could actually find a disciple who cultivates the emotional sword Tao in this shabby village. With such a disciple, he will definitely be favored by the Patriarch and his position will be even more secure. Zhou Chen, a mere young man from a mountain village, dares to try and stop me from becoming the Sect Master? Doesn't he cultivate the emotional sword Tao? Doesn't he have a lover in this village? I will kill his lover and make him angry and merciless. Let's see if he can still be favored by the Patriarch." The old Taoist with long eyebrows released his spirit sense and scanned across the village. Suddenly, he gritted his teeth. "Where's Mu Haitang? Where did she go? Why isn't she in the village?" In the past, Zhou Chen lost his lover on the day he joined the Qiyu sword faction. Ning Fan entered the dream. However, he would never allow anyone to harm Jihe, even if that Jihe was just an illusion and was using Mu Haitang's identity. Even so, he would not allow anyone to hurt Jihe. Whoever hurts her will die. That you're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.